I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. True until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind of Your Matter. My name is Rick, and we're gonna get this show started. We're gonna get it started right. As much as wrong has been going on today, we need something right. God help us. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be really bad. What I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, we better be getting ready. And I hope you guys are not sleeping on this, but apparently you guys are. Something really, really big is about to pop off. I don't think the world or anyone alive has or ever going to be seen. Let me start that again. You guys are not ready for what you guys are about to see. Like, no one in this world has ever seen anything that was going to be happening real soon. And it's going to be very scary. A lot of people are going to die. It's already marked. A lot of people are going to die. There's a lot of demonic energy going on right now. We are living in hell. We keep wanting to go to heaven. We want to go to heaven. We want Jesus to come here. How about, let's answer this question. How about if Jesus doesn't want to come back here? Because he knows this is hell. And why would he want to come back to hell? That's the real question. Anybody's going to answer? Answer in the comments, and we'll see who answers. I bet you nobody, 0 people will answer that question. A big goose egg. All right, guys, let's just get right to it. We got a lot to watch, so let's not hesitate anymore. It's going to start off with Liberal Hive Mind.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. You know, there's always a difference of perception based on your vantage point. You know, you may have one event happen and two different people have seen it from two different angles, and that could lead to a situation where you have two completely different interpretations, or you'll have a situation where one person was on the ground and saw things happen in real time, whereas other people may have seen it, you know, through a camera lens, through one specific angle, and those viewing, I guess, from a third-party perspective, you know, just aren't able to catch all the details. I guess all this to say that, you know, to really know what happened, you had to have been there. And while we were all watching the State of the Union from home, seeing Democrats and their disgraceful behavior on display, well, it appears we actually didn't even get the full picture. We weren't able to see all the little nuances, all the little details. But luckily enough, in comes J.D. Vance explaining exactly what happened and how it felt to a much better degree of detail. And as you can imagine, with most things DNC related, it's a whole lot worse than you actually think. And it also seems to speak to exactly what we've been talking about for years, that the Democrat Party no longer has principles. Now it's just about placating to the far left base, especially during a midterm election. Let me show you guys this very interesting insight from Vice President J.D. Vance, his perception at the State of the Union address. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at J.D. Vance's interesting observation as he was observing Democrats during the night.
I saw a couple of things, Bill. First of all, obviously, most Democrats didn't stand up or clap. And what a shame that is. What a sad commentary that is on the Democratic Party, that the idea that the American government should stand for American citizens, not illegal aliens, that shouldn't be controversial, but apparently it was to the Democrats. But I will say, Bill, something that I saw that probably most TV viewers didn't see was really the cowardice, because there were a few Democrats who sort of politely clapped. They didn't want to stand up. I guess maybe they were worried about being primaried by the far left fringe of their party, but they were all looking around. They weren't actually saying, you know what? I'm going to stand and support this because this is a common sense, obvious statement. They were all looking around for cues from their colleagues because they didn't have the courage to stand on their own. And that, more than anything, Bill, is the saddest commentary on the Democratic Party, that not only will they not stand for the idea that Americans should come first, they won't even have the courage of their convictions. They lean on the person to their left and their right rather than actually have some conviction. That is unfortunately what's true about Democrats in Washington today.
You know, it's basically visual confirmation of exactly what we've been saying. The Democrats know they're wrong. Everyone knows they're wrong. Even CBS admitted it last night.
Before the speech, many Republicans said one of the priorities for the president was to make sure Americans after this speech had a sense that the opposition party was off the rails, was crazy, their terminology, not mine. Many of the contrasts the president articulated tonight were to drive that message forward, that not only do I disagree with the opposition party sitting before me in Congress, but I disagree with them so strongly and they with me so much that they can't even applaud basic common sense thing. And that line that you mentioned, that he added to the speech, whether it was ad-libbed or not, the first obligation, American citizens versus illegal aliens, was meant to create a visual moment of perpetual contrast.
There were so many disgusting moments. You had this incredible young man who Trump was giving an award to and praising. This is the young army pilot who led the Maduro raid, and according to reports, his legs were sliced up by enemy fire. This man is an American hero. He risked his life to do what Democrats have been calling to do for a very long time, right? When Joe Biden was in office, oh, Maduro, we have to get him. We have to get him. It's the most important foreign policy issue in our hemisphere. That's basically what they were saying. Well, this guy did the damn job, and he made an incredible physical sacrifice in that effort, and Democrats couldn't even stand up. They didn't bother to even clap for him. I mean, that was disgusting. And what I said in my initial reaction was that, you know, Democrats know that what they're doing is wrong. They knew that it was wrong during Trump's first address to not stand up and clap for the young boy who was fighting cancer. They know it's wrong to stay seated. When Trump asked to please stand up if you believe that the American people should be put ahead of illegal immigrants, and yet they do it anyways. Because of course it's all about the left-wing base, the far leftoids. They know that they have to placate to this absolutely insane crowd because the far left is their base. Those are the registered Democrats. Those are the people who show up to vote in their primaries. Those are the people who show up to vote for them in the midterms. And of course, they understand that these people are the most politically engaged and activated, and so they would rather pander to their morally bankrupt base than say the right right thing. Time and time and time again, we see it across so many issues. Look what's happening right now on voter ID, right? An absolute supermajority and beyond a supermajority, over 80%, I mean nearly unanimously, the American people support voter ID, but Democrats just will not vote for the bill. Democrats also know that the American people support ICE, they support the DHS, they don't want to see it defunded, yet the Democrats are shutting down the government to do exactly that, even though they can't even accomplish that, and really all they're doing is hurting TSA agents and other departments. It's just an irredeemable political culture. And JD Vance's observation shows you how broken it is. You have these people who are representatives, and they're supposed to be representing the American people and especially their constituents. And their constituents means everyone in their district, not just the far left psychos. And when you elect somebody to represent you, you hope that they're authentic. You hope that they're going to have the moral wherewithal to actually stand up for the right thing, to be real, to be true. But none of these Democrats are real. They're freaking bots. Everything's controlled by the puppet masters, top down. It's a whole power structure. And so instead of rising to the occasion and doing the right thing, they're all looking around. Do I have permission? Has Nancy Pelosi granted me permission to clap? Oh, are other people clapping if I clap to this? Will the far left base now try to primary me? It's a totally unsustainable political culture. It's a culture that, in my view, should be eradicated. It should die. It's horrible. It's awful. And it materializes in the most despicable frickin' moments. It's brought political discourse to such a low level because instead of doing the right thing, instead of being moral, instead of having good character, it's all about division and extreme partisanship. This is the right thing, but I won't stand up. I'll put a horrible signal out there because Donald Trump is the one who said it. What a stupid, unethical standard. And if it's not that, it's just being disruptive and annoying. Freaking Ilhan Omar and her ragtag crew of people who should probably be deported. Throughout almost the entirety of Trump's speech, they were just yelling and accosting.
Sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
And then when questioned on CNN, she doubled down.
Guidelines set out by your own leader.
No, I think it was really unavoidable. The president talked about protecting Americans, and I just had to remind him that his administration was responsible for killing 2 of my constituents.
Many members of your Democratic Party criticized their Republican counterparts when they interrupted President Biden's State of the Union address, as a lot of us remember. Do you have any regrets at all about the interaction we played between you and President Trump just last night?
I do not. I think many people look at that moment when the president says it is our responsibility to protect Americans, and he does not acknowledge the fact that 2 Americans, 2 of my constituents, 2 of our neighbors were killed.
Donald Trump is responsible for killing 2 of my constituents. That's such BS. It's not even funny. If anything, Ilhan, you are more responsible for those 2 people's deaths, radicalizing them and encouraging them to mobilize against ICE agents on the street. Not to mention one of those people almost engaged in vehicular homicide and was simply dealt with. Again, being loud, being obnoxious, being defiant for the purpose of defiance, being irrational, unethical, morally bankrupt, and then justifying it all with a flat out lie and more extreme, exaggerated, hyperbolic rhetoric. It's an irredeemable political culture. What else needs to be said? Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
It's a crazy world we're living in. It's so crazy. Everything's like what's up is down and what's down is up. Everything is just ass backwards. Nothing makes any sense. And the fact that we continue to fall for these traps just proves to us we're just living in a cycle and we never learn. We will never learn. Humanity is just doomed. We're all doomed. Don't worry. You're going to die. Okay. So at least you got that guarantee that's going to happen to you. And how you die, that's the $1 million question. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep it moving because we got a good amount of videos to watch. I'm going to try to keep this under 2 hours. So here we go with some Jason A.
Have you ever heard of lizard people, Pizzagate, or QAnon? Well, a quick internet search will reveal a whole world of modern conspiracy theories and cults.
I've got a very small tongue.
I'm not looking. I refuse to look at whatever's happening here.
I'm being a lizard person.
I know what you're trying to do, but it looks gross.
Now writer and activist Van Batten has exposed some of them in her new book. And she joins us now.
Look at that. Looks like an
Sydney.
alien.
Van, good morning to you. Nice to see you this morning. Appreciate you being on the show. Look, there are so many fantastical theories, actual theories. What have you discovered?
All evil.
Well, I've discovered
them.
that
Doesn't
people
matter.
believe what they want to
They're all
believe. And the strange thing about the world we live in is we live in the most information-rich society on earth. We all carry around personal computers in our phones that can answer just about any question factually, and yet people want to believe that they're a lizard people. It's been a very strange year, Carl. It's been a strange year.
No, it's been a strange year.
Interesting year. But I mean, why would anyone believe that the world is being run by lizard people who shapeshift?
Of course I was going to say that, but
poor baby.
Yeah, she's really, really committed to that. It's really sad.
No, I'm not a poor baby. I'm more reptilian, cold-blooded, and go in to win the election.
We're going to take a short break. I want to talk some more about
nut.
Back in 2013, look at that. You see that? Obama visited the Middle East and gave a speech, an ordinary speech, but allegedly a reptilian was identified in the crowd, a Secret Service agent with very unique features. Either way, people ran with it. And if you can believe this, they even created a list on how to identify lizard people. Interesting, Obama did have low blood pressure. He doesn't wear glasses. He does love science. That's right. Remember when he invited that clock kid to the White House? An aspiring little scientist who made a clock, built it into a suitcase, wires hanging out all over with a countdown, all very alarming, don't you think? And he submitted the project to school. Well, the worst thing could have happened. The suitcase started beeping. People thought it was a bomb. The teacher called the cops. Parents were upset. It was all a whole ordeal. But I bet if Clock Kid brought that to the White House unannounced, it would ruffle some feathers. Now,
I mean, have you been on the internet? People are out there saying that we're ruled by giant lizards and that Elvis is alive. You can't think of anything crazier than investing more in our schools and our children?
Obama's a fucking idiot.
The former president also making headlines for his recent comments regarding aliens. This is after he was asked about extraterrestrials in an interview last week.
In an interview with Brian Tyler Cohen over the weekend, the former president got some attention when he proclaimed that aliens are real.
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the president of the United States.
They didn't know what they were talking about. We know we're different from the president. We're very discreet.
Different from the president, discreet.
Reptilian, cold-blooded. These are the races we have to win.
What?
Others are winning the whole country.
Cold-blooded?
Well, they want to believe it. They want the world to be a lot simpler than it is. And especially during...
Is that simple?
Well, especially during
simple.
coronavirus, we've been bombarded with information about science and healthcare and who's to blame, and it's complicated. And when people are in the conspiratorial mindset, it's because they want the world to be just polarized. They want good, bad, light, dark, humans, and lizard people.
It's a very handsome. It's a very handsome lizard person, though. Can I say that?
That's a hot lizard,
isn't it? That's what I was going to say. That's a seriously hot lizard. You went undercover and met some of these people, and look, they're very active on the interweb. These conspiracy cults and all that sort of stuff. What motivates them?
Well, like I said, they want a really simple story to believe in. They want to know who the bad guys are, so they invent the bad guys. The idea that we live in a world which is full of contingencies and calamity is difficult for them. So they gravitate towards these really simple, sort of heroic narratives that offer them this opportunity to, fight this crusade for justice and glory from the comfort of their own keyboard. And they get really enmeshed in it. One of the things I discovered undercover was the propaganda is just relentless. If you're in one of their groups, or particularly on one of their Telegram channels, it just never stops. It's like a buzz every second.
You know, I've got a friend of mine who's got, like very, very close actually, who's into it. And he was getting information, especially during the US political cycle, that was pretty spot on. Is there actual links? Is there actual credible links to the right information?
Well, not really, not in the channels that I go to.
Yeah.
Because what happens, Carl, is that because the propaganda is so relentless, people enter what's called a sealed information environment where they stop trusting mainstream media. They stop watching commercial TV, they stop watching the ABC, they decide all newspapers are evil, and they get all their information from these sort of self-appointed conspiracy gurus online and all these communities that form around them. And the nature of their reality tends to bend, and they start creating sort of libraries of information to justify all of this crazy stuff. I got a little meme the other day in one of my undercover personas with different types of lizard people. Like, so it's, this sort of, so there are apparently different kinds of lizard people. They're from different planets and galaxies, and they have different agendas, apparently. And it's this kind of stuff that people get really enmeshed in.
What are the giveaways if someone's a lizard person?
We know.
One of them in the literature is that they have red hair, so be warned.
The redhead's copper from everyone.
Well, I mean, the thing about the lizard people is they're a euphemism for any kind of group that's traditionally been marginalised. And there are places in the world where having red hair is like a form of social marginalisation. So rather than picking on an ethnic group or a religious minority, you substitute the word lizard people, and this kind of mythology spawns a life of its own on the internet. But it's not just lizard people. I mean, there are these theories that Hillary Clinton is the sort of demonic leader of a sex cult that tortures children under restaurants in Washington, and that Tom Hanks is kept alive by infusions of blood from tortured children, and Joe Biden is a clone, and there's really complex stuff about the cast of Friends.
True.
And, and people just want to believe it. They want to believe in these sort of fantastic narratives. And they're really dangerous, because if you can convince yourself that Joe Biden is a clone, or Hillary Clinton killed JFK, that's one of them, which is very strange. She would have been quite young at the time.
Okay, why are you blowing up our social media feed with reports that you might not be human? Folks, if you haven't seen it, Google Molly Martinez. You're all over the computer here this morning. We see.
That's what I want.
It's the funniest thing that has ever happened to me.
Fill us in.
Yeah, I was caught on a White House camera a couple weeks ago, and I was making a face at my friend, and someone took the video and claimed that I'm a lizard person. And so now that's what's going on the internet. And it's been a wild ride, but it is objectively extremely hilarious.
Can you prove that you're not a lizard person here this morning for us?
I never thought I would have to litigate that, Al, but let me set the record straight right here on KTIV. I am not a lizard person.
Now, what you need to do is take that video.
I'm kind of dressed the part today.
Right. Well, what you need to do is take that video clip with the new viral sound that just goes, lizard, lizard, lizard. Just lean into it.
I've gotten a couple of those, yeah.
A little bit of fun on a Friday.
We love it. Yeah. One guy asked what kind of lizard I am, and I was like, is this a date?
Good question.
Maybe he's into reptiles. Molly, always great to talk to you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
So this centralization of power has gone on and on, but people were being born. They were playing a part in advancing this agenda within this cult.
Oh my God!
The cult was expanding its reach until it was eventually global.
Look at that!
And they were then dying, and other people would take over. So you were seeing this process. So the next question is,
what the hell?
There has to be some common force that's been overseeing all of this, and that's been orchestrating all this. Because you're born, you play a part, you die, someone else born plays a part. There's got to be some orchestration, because if people are being born and they know that although they're playing a part in advancing this cult agenda, they ain't going to be here, well, in theory, to see it reach fruition. I mean, what's going on? There has to be another force. And this was the point from the mid-1990s when I first came to the United States to talk on these subjects, to nobody, by the way. I had this strange experience of 12 days, 12 times within 15 days, when I was traveling around America, talking to nobody, people came up to me, 12 different people, and told me the same story, that they'd seen someone who appeared to be human, then change shapeshift into a reptilian form and then go back again. And again, back burner, you go, the one thing you don't do, unless you're in a box, and unless you've, from previous research, you know it's nonsense, you don't dismiss it.
It sounds like an old science fiction movie, but a study out of Harvard finds that aliens might be living among us. Harvard University's Human Flourishing Program speculates UFOs may be spaceships visiting alien friends planted right here on Earth, that is. Those aliens then are disguised as humans trying to fit in. Study examines 4 different alien theories, okay, including technologically advanced ancient human civilization, plus ETs from the future. The study says aliens could either live among us, underground, or inside the moon.
Inside?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what to do with that.
Wow.
And the video was interesting, though. They were just at the beach, all those aliens.
You just saw the beach.
They're living among us.
Yep, they are. And I want to say a happy Alien Dad's Day, because I'm sure there's like dads, right, that are aliens that are out there.
Why not?
Sure.
I got nothing to say. This world is just so fucking crazy. So fucking crazy. Let's keep it moving. The fuck is this? Are you kidding me? What the fuck is this? What is that? Ew, what the hell?
Unfortunately, these days we don't repeat this enough, or we don't have this aqidah concept firm in our minds.
Americans are
that
so
Islam did not come to coexist. Islam Islam لا يعلى. الإسلام يعلو ولا يعلى عليه. And Islam is raised high and nothing is raised above Islam. We can't think of Islam that it came to live with these other religions, in the sense that Islam is a religion amongst those religions, and they have a share with the truth, and they have a share of justice, and they have a share of, this worship of Allah, the correct worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam came to correct all of that. Islam came to remove the oppression of all those religions. And it is the only truth, and it is the only way to justice.
The state of Texas has banned so-called Sharia cities after Governor Abbott signed House Bill 4211 in McKinney. Lawmakers passed it to specifically target Epic City, a planned mixed-use development near the town of Josephine. The governor claims anyone who bought a lot in Epic City would be required to follow Sharia law, making it a Muslims-only neighborhood.
America is a Christian nation.
Amen.
The principal, 1 year ago, on the same day, World Hijab Day, wore that hijab and said she loved it, all caps. 1 year to the day later, on World Hijab Day, Sunday, Monday hits, they're putting our girls in Sharia. They're passing out Sharia pamphlets, hijabs, Qurans, understanding Islam, understanding Sharia. Sharia treats half of this room like and these women are not. This is not a Muslim nation. This is a Christian nation. That principal knew what she was doing. And I am not believing that was 1 or 2 people at that front desk. Fired the principal. You tell the parents, don't go online to get information. But what did they get online? Marco told the truth. That's where they got the information. And you did. Online. Tell them that's not the good. This was dawah. Muslim proselytizing, dawah. It's like me as a Christian going into a school and witnessing to these kids. You want me to do that? Let's go.
Which leads me to my first topic, Mr. President. Iran. I'm not talking about the people of Iran. I'm talking about the political and religious leadership of the government of Iran. Talking about the Ayatollah and his followers. And in America, we separate government from religion. Not in Iran, thanks to the Ayatollah. The government tells you what religion to practice. The government is the religion. Now, everybody has the right to believe what they want. I'll tell you what the Ayatollah believes. He's Muslim, but his strain of Islam says that if you do not agree with his interpretation of God, then you deserve to die. You do. And he acts on that belief.
This law prevents them from creating no-go zones. It prevents them from selling or renting land only to people who follow Islam.
Collin County State Rep Candy Noble co-authored the bill, citing Epic City's own words.
They said, we will limit sales to only persons we believe will contribute to the overall makeup of our community.
All lies, argues Epic City's attorney, Dan Cogdell.
I mean, simply put, Governor Abbott couldn't find the truth with respect to Epic with a CNI dog, a search warrant, and a citing.
It requires disputes to be resolved by Texas law and Texas courts, not Sharia law.
There's no Sharia compounds, as he would call it. He doesn't even know what Sharia is.
The DFW Council on American Islamic Relations also calling out the rhetoric as hurtful and dangerous.
Sharia law would generally be defined as requiring people to comply with either the rules of Sharia, the rules of Islam, the rules of a local mosque.
What are you guys hearing that people are interpreting Sharia law to be?
The Sharia is some type of dark, mystic, political
We don't want it.
system that will require
Why are you
everybody
explaining it to me? I don't want
wear
it.
burqas, and their sons would be terrorists and so forth and so on. All this propaganda that goes with
but why are you bringing it
HB
to us?
4211 in place. Epic
No,
City's
no,
attorney
no, no,
says
no.
the
Get that shit outta
project
here.
is absolutely moving forward.
Now, let me say again, the Ayatollah is entitled to believe what he wants. I was raised a Presbyterian. My parents founded 2 Presbyterian churches. When Becky and I got married, Becky was a Methodist. I was a Presbyterian. We compromised. I became a Methodist. I'm entitled to believe what I want. But the Ayatollah not only thinks that I'm going to hell because I don't agree with his religion, he wants to kill me. He wants to kill Americans and Israelis and anybody who does not believe in his jihad and drink our blood out of a boot. And he's acted on that. I don't need to tell you, Mr. President. I don't need to tell you. And he has acted on that. And that's not acceptable.
Yeah, why are they starting
Now,
it?
a lot of the people
This
in
doesn't make
Iran,
sense, man. We're fucked.
the good people in Iran don't agree with the Ayatollah.
I just want
If
the
they
world
disagree with him too loudly, he just kills them.
to do it.
Now the Ayatollah, it's actually been the case for the last, 10, 15, 20 years. The Ayatollah has decided he wants a nuclear war yet. Why should we care? I hear from some of my fellow Americans all the time, why do we need to be involved in Iran? Why should we care? Well, number one, we're not trying to start a war in Iran. The president is trying to end a war in Iran. If the Ayatollah gets a nuclear weapon, he will use it. He could use it against America. He could use it against Israel. I don't know who he'll use it against, and I hope I'm wrong, but he will use it. And you know what else will happen? As soon as he gets a nuclear weapon, Saudi Arabia is going to get a nuclear weapon. And the UAE is going to get a nuclear weapon.
Yep.
And Japan's going to get a nuclear weapon, and South Korea, and I could go on and on and on. And the more nuclear weapons you have in the world, the more likely you are to have a nuclear war. The Ayatollah also has conventional ballistic missiles and is building more as we speak. Now, those missiles can't reach America yet, but they're working on one. And they can sure reach our military bases in the Middle East. And they can sure reach Israel. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. That's why we should care. So that's what this business with Iran is all about. We're not trying to be the world's policeman. We're trying to stop the Ayatollah from being the world's policeman, who's getting a lot of support from President Xi Jinping in China and Vladimir Putin in Russia and Kim Jong-un in North Korea. So that's where we find ourselves, trying to stop this war. Anybody whose religion tells them that in order to be saved, they've got to go kill hundreds of millions of people, you can believe it if you want. But as far as I'm concerned, it's time to get a new religion. And that's what we're doing in Iran. Let me say it again. We're not trying to start a war. This war began a long time ago.
Yeah, this war's been going on.
We're trying to end it.
This war's been, it's been going on for a very, very long time. Thank you, Jason A, for a great upload. We've been at war with Iran. Oh my God. Even when they had the hostage shit go down in Iran back in the 70s, it was just, listen, you got to put a stop to it one way or another. If it's through force, we might be seeing a war, a really big war. You think that bullshit with Russia and Ukraine is something? And they giving false hope to Ukraine. Oh my God, yeah, you're winning. Look how you're doing so much towards Russia. Look. Like I said many times before, I got plenty bridges here in Connecticut I can sell you, and just make the checkout or just deposit into my account. Just throw the money over here. I could do better with it. This world is in it for, and the thing is that they already infiltrated the United States. They're already here. And all they need is a trigger. And they're off to the races and trying to eliminate as many as Americans as they can here in this country. Like, they are already here. They are already infiltrated. They're already procreated. They're already like multiplying like gremlins. It's like cancer. That's what they want. This is how kingdoms have fallen before, and it's through the infiltration. And divide and conquer. That's what they're doing. They infiltrated our country. They infiltrated the demon rats that I call them. And they're spreading. And the fact that we always sit back and wait instead of be proactive and start questioning these Democrats. What is going on here? Fuck your party, fuck the parties. As humans, what in the fuck is going on? Can anybody answer that fucking question? No, crickets. The same crickets that are here, it's the same crickets that are in Washington. Because you don't hear shit. These Democrats, they've already been infiltrated. They've been bought out by the cartels long time ago. You know, even Trump is feeling the heat, saying that he doesn't know if he's going to live much longer. Because the hit has been put on him, and he realizes that. So what you think is going to happen? You think Trump's not going to do nothing? You think he's just going to be like, let it slide? This president has never been a president to let anything slide. You'll see something big is going to happen. Just make sure that, you know, you have plenty of food. Just make sure you have plenty of water. Just not a fear-mongering thing. It's just a preparation thing. Something big's going to happen. Make sure, I guess, fill up your car if you can. Fill it up. And just write it out full until you get, you know, and nothing happens until you get like that quarter mile, like that quarter tank. Then fill it up. You know, always, but be very cautious because anything's going to break at any time. And what I'm telling you about gas, the gas prices are going to rise up. Because you got to understand, the Gulf of Hormuz, that Gulf area, that's where 20% of the world's oil comes from. Okay? 20%. Now, if they're going to cut that off and no oil is going to be coming through, that's going to impact the whole world. So, what's the answer, Rick? The answer's already been answered. It's been answered for a little while now. Chain of Truth is honking their horn. Venezuela. Venezuelan oil, that is very untapped oil that you don't understand how like 20% is nothing compared to what Venezuela oil has. That's why we have no fear in going to war with these stupid idiots and thinking that, oh, we need Iranian oil? You think we need like Iraq? Like, you think we need the oil that comes from Iraq, even though they owe us so much? But do you think we need that? Listen, fool. we Venezuela right now, they're already starting construction on oil fields, like on the coast. Like they're drilling. Drill, baby, drill. You think every day you go to sleep and wake up, nothing happens? Okay. Stay within this illusion. That's why I put the background up for tonight. Because everybody is part of this illusion. All right, let's see what else we got. Ooh, Melody King. Yes, please. Let me go ahead and set that up. Let's watch some Melody King. Oh, it's talking about the war.
Breaking, Iran has rejected all American demands in the talks today in Geneva, Switzerland, and it looks like war's the only thing left. The U.S. asked Iran to destroy the 3 main nuclear facilities, which I thought were destroyed in June, by the way, transfer all remaining enriched uranium to the United States, which is worth like billions of dollars, halt all uranium enrichment permanently, no timeline, forever, and accept a permanent agreement with no expiration date and no way to get out of it. This deal is essentially a full surrender from Iran. After Iran rejected, Steve Witkoff, the top negotiator for Trump, told the Wall Street Journal that he was shocked, meaning the only thing left now is for a war between the two countries. The 3 nuclear facilities that America wants Iran to destroy were supposedly destroyed back in June, and they used to have cameras. America could see inside of them. But in 2017, that deal which Obama made, Trump ripped it up and withdrew from. So it now looks like that war is the only option left.
An attack on Iran has been declared inevitable as US stealth fighters arrive in the war zone. 11 of America's most advanced warplanes are now standing by to smash Iran's air defenses. Israeli officials said they believed that a US strike is now inevitable, with both the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS Gerald R. Ford, the most powerful warship on Earth, now both in range for an attack. Negotiations appear doomed as Iran continued to dodge concessions on its nuclear aims and refused to discuss ballistic missiles or protest crackdowns. The American Raptors are seen as the last key component to be deployed before Trump gives an attack order.
That's so unique.
So it looks like, guys, from every report that war is now inevitable because the terms that were set up for Iran, well, it would be a complete surrender. These are things that they just refuse to do. And Iran, as we know, they're not going to go down without a fight. They're not going to just roll over. Now, opinions are varying on a lot of different sides. Some are saying that the U.S., of course, our military, our capabilities, like our technology, is so much more advanced that we will be able to destroy them quickly. But there's another side of this coin that you have to understand, where even General Raising Cane was saying that he's seeing this is not some quick military operation. This isn't like Venezuela, right? Where we can just go in, take the leader and it's a wrap. No. Iran is very different. Okay. This is a somewhat of a superpower. Okay. And so to understand how deep this goes, we got to understand the weaponry that they have, the strategic moves that are going on. And then I want to give you kind of even though they were saying they have certain types of weapons, you have to understand they come from China. And there's not really, some believe that it can just kind of be a paper tiger, that what they're claiming that they have, they don't really have it. Okay. And this is what China has been known to do, or they develop weapons, but they aren't really as capable, or I guess I would say as sturdy, okay, as the US weapons are. But I want to walk you through this. And I also want to show you how this war, which will inevitably, if this takes place, could potentially, and I believe, and most people believe, will end up being a world war, and how that ties directly to prophecy, and how we are essentially, as I have been telling you for many months now, in the end times.
Yeah, it's a chain reaction.
50,000 U.S. troops are now within Iran's ballistic missile range. Iran has said it won't strike first, but if attacked, it could launch 30,000 ballistic missiles, 1,000 hypersonic missiles, and 100,000 drones. These hypersonic missiles are unstoppable, reaching targets in just 5 minutes. And Chinese satellite intel clearly shows U.S. troop positions to Iran. The USS Gerald Ford and another carrier have arrived in the Middle East, while a second carrier was spotted in the Mediterranean heading toward Iraq. Iran has publicly announced it will fire hypersonic missiles capable of destroying $10 billion worth of U.S. aircraft, as no current defense system can stop them. Israel currently appears to be staying out of the conflict. U.S. naval strike groups, fighter jets, tankers, and reconnaissance planes continue arriving 24/7 to maintain maximum pressure and respond to any immediate threat. If war breaks out, all U.S. carriers and nearby warships are at extreme risk due to Iran's advanced hypersonic capabilities.
There's real danger here for Bahrain, for the United Arab Emirates, for Saudi Arabia, especially in the eastern province, which is where most of the oil is. This isn't going to be a country of 92 million people just rolling over and accepting defeat, without a shot being fired. And one final point too. I don't know why the Western media are not talking about the fact that Iran has developed hypersonic missiles. The United States doesn't have hypersonic missiles.
No, we do.
Working on one.
No, we do.
We don't have any idea what a hypersonic missile might do to an aircraft carrier, for example.
I have an idea. Even the Yemenis
we have a
hypersonic missile
Elon Musk
capability. It's extraordinary that the United States does not.
You don't think
but these hypersonic missiles are essentially undefendable. They can only be defended at disproportionate cost at the exhaustion of scarce anti-missile weaponry and systems. So they are
controlling the world.
As George W. Bush would put it, they are underestimating the Iranian military capability, which has, of course, been greatly enhanced since the 12-day war of last year. First of all, China and Russia have been shipping in like Billio, big transporters with electronic warfare, with anti-aircraft capability.
You don't think
Iran is much stronger than it was in the 12-day war, and Iran did not use its cutting-edge missiles in the 12-day war, but will certainly use them in the next war, if war there is. So there are multiple reasons for not beginning this war.
The U.S. has launched wars before, but when it comes to Iran, the consequences are so dangerous that it still hasn't pulled the trigger. In Iraq and Libya, Washington acted fast. Both countries were militarily weak, but Iran is different. Unlike Iraq and Libya, Iran has built a deep and powerful missile and drone arsenal, including key systems like Shahab-3, a medium-range ballistic missile capable of striking targets over 1,300 kilometers away. Sejil, a solid-fuel missile with a range close to 2,000 kilometers, designed for rapid launch and harder interception. And Fateh 110, precision-guided missiles built specifically to hit military bases accurately. With these weapons, Iran can target U.S. military bases across the Middle East and can also threaten U.S. aircraft carriers, not with a single missile, but through large-scale saturation attacks using missiles and drones together. Then come the choke points. Iran can disrupt the Strait of Hormuz, through which nearly one-fifth of the world's oil flow.
Now, we're gonna finish this video out. I want to show you the
atomic weapons
capabilities, like what China is actually shipping over, giving that information, and also tying it into biblical prophecy. But I just wanted to really quickly show you one way that you can support the work we have going on. Now,
it's beautiful.
Let's get back to the video.
Is nearing a deal to buy supersonic anti-ship missiles from China, meant to stop or sink U.S. aircraft carriers. These are not hypersonic missiles, which are faster. They are supersonic. So it goes about Mach 2.5 to Mach 3. Chinese-made CM302 has a range of about 300 kilometers and about 250 to 500 kilogram payload. So yeah, they could definitely put a hole in one of our bad boys. But here's why I'm not too worried about it. For one, even though the Chinese have marketed this missile since 2016 as a carrier killer, and it has a very impressive list of stats, they say it has a 90% target strike probability.
Billions of dollars.
The problem with that little claim is it's only been fired within China. No other country has used it. No other country has witnessed the deploying of these missiles. So this 90% target strike probability is probably fake. That kind of reminds me of China's 6th generation fighter jet, which is supposed to leave anything that America has years behind, even though there's no outside independent confirmation that it's actually true. Or China's new nuclear submarine that was supposed to blow anything the US had out of the water, and then it just sank at dock back in 2024. Now, I'm not saying the Chinese CM302 can't damage an aircraft carrier. I just don't trust that 90% accuracy figure, especially against a ship that is moving at full speed, like 30 to 35 knots. Then there's the fact that carrier strike groups provide several layers of defense for the actual carrier. And then the carrier itself is very, very hard to sink just because its hulls are so
it's not by
compartmentalized. And I would very much like to know how the Chinese know that their CM302 is a carrier killer if they've never used it against an American aircraft carrier. What carriers did China test these missiles on to give it that name? But even if all of China's claims about that missile are true, they are putting this missile in the hands of Iran, a country that had to actually lie about shooting down F-35 fighter jets during the 12-day war, and they ended up admitting that they lied. Iran is a country that is still struggling on knowing how to operate its own air defense systems towards its own planes. And that was pretty old technology. I'm wondering how effectively the Iranian military could use something as modern as the Chinese CM302. But I'm not really sure what threat the carrier killer missiles are going to be to the US naval assets currently in the Middle East, because the missiles aren't even in Iran yet. They haven't even finished the deal. Right now, the biggest threat to the US carrier strike groups in the Middle East is their sewage problem. Thanks for watching.
I think it's imminent.
Before I play this clip, if you don't know, my last report about this, that there were, guys, out of 650 toilets, okay, on the USS Ford, guys, only 5 or functional. There's sewage all over, backing up all inside this carrier. Like it's ridiculous. And there was no plan on how to fix this. So you had over 4,000 service people, well, soldiers, okay, military people on this carrier who had to use 5 toilets. Sometimes the lines were up to 3 hours long just to use the facilities. Now they've docked off of the coast of Greece. I don't know if they've gone in to try to, obviously they're probably there. They did that in order to have allowed them to go out, take showers, because they weren't able to take showers either. The entire water system was messed up. And so allowed them to take showers, use the bathroom. And I'm thinking giving them some time to actually fix the toilets. But essentially can you imagine the morale that is on this carrier, that is on this ship?
I don't know if
they're not even able
really
to use the bathroom or take a shower.
Could be a red herring.
So I know that they're going to get it fixed, but we don't know
be a red
how long
herring.
that is going to take. So you have, although
why
we
would
have
you
all these
send
military
out
capabilities,
a carrier
there are real
if
logistical
their system
issues
is not working
that
properly?
we still have to deal
You know what I
with.
mean?
And it's just so crazy to me with all our capabilities that they weren't able to get these toilets up and running,
Yeah,
or
it
that they
doesn't make
even
sense.
backed up in the first place.
You don't
But
think they could
these
fly
are the kind of
in
like the
plumbers
real world
and
things that
bring
people
in
don't think about when
plumbers
it comes to
from
war.
within the
But
military?
I'm hopefully
on,
we get some
listen.
news soon that our military
I was born at
service
night,
members
not
will not
last
have
night.
to suffer through living through Can you imagine the smell on that thing? It has to be absolutely disgusting.
It doesn't make
And
sense.
then once that's all, let's say they clean it all up. I mean, once they fix it, then they have to go through the whole process of cleaning that all up. We don't know what's gotten damaged because the water was piling up high, feces was everywhere. It was absolutely disgusting. But again, my main concern in all of this, even with this war, is
it's
the
a biohazard.
lives and the welfare of our military members. As you guys know, my mother was in the Air Force for a long time. I personally grew up in the Pentagon. And during the summer, there's ramps. There's like no steps in the Pentagon.
I don't know.
So I would take my my little scooter.
I'm thinking, man, you could fly in
just
so
be
many plumbers
riding
and so
around
many
the ramps. It
people
was so fun
that
back
could
in the
go
day.
in with
It was like a really
supplies
fun place to be, especially it was mostly in the
and work on the
summertime
system,
or after school.
and
I would
even
be there. My
bring
mother
in
would
and
work
fly
late. My
in,
father actually worked for the
like
National Science Foundation, which is a
with
whole thing
helicopters,
getting
they
into
can fly
computers
it
and
in.
AI
The
that can
equipment
he
that
can
they
give you
need
stories
for the
about.
ship.
So
Like
again, that is
to
always
me,
my
it
main
makes very
concern.
little
But
sense.
let's continue.
I think it's imminent. I mean, it's a matter of days. War looks inevitable to me because President Trump has been not just assembling a huge arsenal to strike Iran, but also because President Trump has been clearly signaling that he is seeking the submission of the Islamic Republic.
When Iran comes to the negotiating table in Geneva, in terms of their leverage, how weak or how strong are they?
I think that they are much weaker, without a doubt, than they have ever been. In terms of leverage at the negotiating table, it's
crazy with
a
Mexico.
counterstrike or
Mexico.
drawing or dragging the United States into a war that President Trump has always criticized. He's been opposed to forever wars. So the Iranians are playing with that.
I've been speaking to a few people in Iran who have been quite vocal on their desire for foreign intervention. And from the United States, they do want American bombs to fall. What is the opinion of others that you're speaking with about foreign intervention into Iran?
What I continue to hear is deep anger and a desire to see a new system of governance in Iran. People are fed up and done with the Islamic Republic and deeply despise Iran's supreme leader. In tandem to that, I'm hearing a lot of concerns. There's no plan for the so-called day after. There are concerns about Iran's fragmentation, chaos, civil war, violence. So it's easy to call for regime change, but getting to the change in regime and building a better system of governance is going to be very costly.
Now, I want to get into biblical prophecy because I think it's inevitable. I don't want war. I think most Americans are opposed to war. This is what President Trump ran on, but things have changed and we know that they're going to change. We have had just this year alone, some of the craziest things we've ever seen, even them now going to disclose aliens and all of this movement. All of these things are happening at the same time of digital ID in terms of the mark of the beast system has rolled out. All of these things are converging at once.
from
And it
World
is
War
very
II.
important to
Did we forget
understand that
about
this
that?
war in Iran
Even
with
World War
Iran,
One.
it's inevitable. It's
The Foo
biblical,
Fighters.
and it is part of fulfilling biblical
Come on,
prophecy
man.
to usher in the end times, to
They're
bring
here.
about Jesus
So
Christ. And I
once
I
there
just want
talks
to
about
make a
nuclear
distinction,
weapons
because a lot of people don't understand.
threats of
The
big wars
rapture
we
is
do,
us, those
that's
who
when these
believe in
aliens
Jesus
pop
Christ.
out and be like, "No, we
We
can't
will
have
be
this shit happen."
raptured in the clouds with the Lord,
You
with
know,
Jesus Christ. He does
I
not
think they're like
return
the
to earth
caretakers,
until the final
and they
judgment
come and
after the
intervene.
7-year tribulation.
They've done it
So once
before.
we are raptured, that marks the beginning of the 7-year tribulation, where there will be wars, famine. I mean, guys, I and I made a mistake before when I told you that there will be locusts that will feed on you and you will not die. Not only will they feed on you, but they have stingers on the back of them, okay, like scorpion stingers that will sting you, and it will leave you sick and in pain for months and months and months. And I described him before having a lion's body, but
Okay, let me hold off on you. I know perfect timing, right? Stop. Hammer time. No, it's my time, girl. Talking about this locust stuff, right? I'm gonna look real quick for a video of these locusts. They're here. It's here. And I'm gonna bring it up right now. Here we go. Just give me 1 second. Let me set it up real fast. And this was captured today. It was captured today. And this is like the Sahara drivers were ambushed by these grasshoppers. Well, let me show you guys. Let me set this up. And we're gonna watch it together. Oh, Rick, what's that? Oh, we're gonna watch together. You ready? What is that? Tell you, this is becoming biblical. Those are locusts hitting the car. That sound. I'm gonna let it play for a little bit. Look at that. Hitting the car. Look, it has locust juice, bug juice on the windshield. What do you think about this? And this is coming from Fox Weather. And this is over in the Saharan. I don't know. Melody was talking about the locusts. They're here. They're here. We are witnessing big time history going on. And once this war breaks out, I will be on here covering it. We'll have a lot of people watch. That'll be good. Maybe more people will comment. That'll be great. And I tell you right now, we're living in biblical times. Talking about the aliens, I was talking about the aliens. Paintings. Paintings have spaceships on them with light coming from underneath it. Coming from underneath the spaceships. In portraits of religion portraits. Nobody like I question it all the time, but nobody really put any emphasis into focusing on it. Like, why is that on a fucking painting? Why is that from the past that you have like these little craft ships on your fucking paintings? And look at the locusts. What do you guys think about that? Enough said, man. Y'all in for a rude awakening. Y'all in it for a rude awakening.
Made a mistake because they have like a lion's head with a human face and lion's teeth, claws like a lion, but a horse's body and giant wings, and then a scorpion tail. That is what's going to be coming out of the earth. There are depictions of these creatures in ancient civilizations. You can see them all over temples and drawings and things, that these things existed during the time of Noah. And we know that the end times, these creatures, these monsters are returning, right? They are returning, okay, for the end times. And it's going to be worse than anyone can imagine. 200 million of Satan's hell riders. Okay, the four angels, the four fallen angels that are locked, essentially imprisoned under the Euphrates River, they're going to come out, guys, and they are going to kill a third of the world's population. Yes, over 2 billion people. They are going to end up killing these four angels alone. And if you don't know, the Euphrates River, I'm going to do an update on it. It's been going down, down, down. I mean, it has been drying up at a rapid pace. People are now hearing sounds and groans. They're discovering tunnels and these structures underneath the Euphrates. We are seeing all of this unfolding. And whether I want war or not, this is what is inevitable. It's what the Bible has said is going to happen. Things are never getting better. The Bible never promises that. That's actually a humanist thinking that we've been brainwashed into. Things will continue to get worse. And our job as Christians is to endure in the end, until the end, to preach the gospel and to endure. The Bible keeps talking about enduring. Okay. We will not be left to suffer God's wrath, because that is what tribulation is. And then the final judgment. But we will not be left to suffer that wrath. And so I want people to understand that, as these things unfold, you don't have to be afraid, right? We are just now tying real world events for the first time directly to biblical prophecy. And never in the history of the world have we had everything converging at once. Not in this way. People may have said it in the past. They wanted Jesus to return. He's returning soon. He's returning soon. Okay, they may have felt that way and they were actually doing what they're called to do. But understand that right now, what we're seeing, we are literally the last generation. We are the last people. We are seeing it. It's not just a feeling. It's not just one or two things, but every single thing predicted in the word of God is converging right now, including the birth pains of the earth, with natural signs and wonders all over the place. So it is very important that you put it in that perspective, or you'll just be, in chaos or not really understanding how critical this is. It is paramount that we pay attention to these details, or we're going to be left without oil in our lamps. We're going to be just thinking that time's going to keep going on, making our plans. We're going to just be living our lives. But I'm telling you now, we are in the last seconds of the last days. And I always like to remind you guys, like, I switched my content like almost overnight. It was like God told me I needed to start speaking on these things, tying the Bible to real world events to wake people up, because I truly believe that is the calling God has on my life. So let's go ahead and play this.
The Bible says that this attack at the end of time will come on Israel from the north and the south, and that will be the final war, the war to end all wars that will usher in the end of time. Now, here's the question. Are we entering into that war right now? In Ezekiel 38 and 39, it mentions nations Gog and Magog. That would be like modern day Russia. It also mentions Persia in Ezekiel 38 and 39. That corresponds to modern day Iran. What we do know is that if Iran enters the war, that Turkey and Russia will probably go with them. Right behind them will be North Korea and China. And if all of the world powers start attacking from the north and the south, start trying to attack Israel, that could be the war to end all wars that ushers in the end of history.
A 2,500-year-old prophecy is unfolding before our eyes. What Ezekiel predicted about Iran and Israel will send chills down your spine. In Ezekiel chapter 38, the prophet describes a final war between Israel and a coalition of nations. But here's what's shocking. He names the exact countries by their ancient names: Persia, modern-day Iran, Gomer, Turkey, Put, Libya, and they're all aligning against Israel right now. Now let me explain the ancient prediction. Ezekiel wrote, "In the latter days you will come against the land of Israel, you and all your troops and the many peoples with you." But here's the spine-chilling part. He predicted they would come from the far north. Iran sits directly north of Israel. The geography matches perfectly. Even more terrifying, he said this would happen when Israel is dwelling securely in unwalled villages. For 2,000 years, Israel didn't exist. Then in 1948, they became a nation again. Ezekiel said they would be gathered from many nations and brought back from the sword. Today, Iran threatens Israel's existence. They allegedly fund Hamas, Hezbollah, and openly call for Israel's destruction. The alliance Ezekiel described is forming exactly as predicted. But here's what Ezekiel says happens next. God himself intervenes. I will rain down fire and brimstone. The attacking armies are supernaturally destroyed. Iran's current threats, Israel's isolation, the UN turning against them. It's all setting the stage for the most dramatic divine intervention in human history. We're not just watching news, we're witnessing prophecy. Every headline brings us closer. Iran's nuclear program, Israel's isolation, the Abraham Accords, creating peace and security. Even the timing matches Ezekiel's predictions. Brethren, this isn't coincidence. This is divine orchestration playing out exactly as written 2,500 years ago.
And not just the Abraham Accords, guys, the Board of Peace, which just had their first meeting. I've got to do an update on that. We are looking at, again, and that ties into the 10 Kings. Like I've told you, if none of this is fun, like clocking, because I still have people who say, well, no. I need you to open your eyes. I need you to even look at some of my past videos to show you how all of these things are tying together and converging. Do I want war? No, absolutely no. None of us do. But it's not, it's not about what we want or not. It's like, we don't have any power to stop it. What are we going to do? We're going to vote it out. We're going to change something. We're going to protest. We've seen that does not make a difference. But it is, once you put it into this divine perspective and understand that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, and that everything is moving along in God's timing to bring about an appointed end, you can rest assured and understand that not only is our rescue coming from the Lord soon enough, but also that we can have a joy in our heart, regardless of the problems that we're seeing around this world, regardless of the problems in our own lives. I'm seeing so many people who, so many Christians are being attacked, not just spiritually, but financially, their families. Maybe you are one of the people who are speaking these things, trying to tell friends and family, and they're just not listening. They don't want to hear it. I was shocked at how many people don't know about the Epstein files, aren't paying attention about that. They know more about Savannah Guthrie's mother missing, which I think is a psyop. I just do. And most people who've been following it now believe it's a psyop, a distraction. They know more about that than they do about the Epstein files, or people are just going about their lives as though it doesn't matter that they're sacrificing children to Baal and Moloch, or that they're eating them, and the jerky and all of the disgusting things, the DNA manipulation.
It's like, a lot of distractions going on.
And you can see how you're trying to maybe sound the alarm, and it's like there's these blinders on people. But the Bible also says that, but I don't want you to be discouraged by it, okay? Because you're doing what you're called to do, regardless if people want to listen or not. And just like it says that the end times will be like the times of Noah, that is what you're in, crying out, okay? Noah built that ark. A lot of people don't realize this. It was 120 years that Noah was building that ark. People were making fun of him, okay? They could not understand what he was doing. And then finally, when they were all on that ark, what happened? The rain began to fall. All right. So we are in that season. So not just like Noah, when people don't want to listen, that don't think that it's nothing personal. It's not against you personally, but Satan has blinded people to the truth. All you can do is plant the seed, then somebody else maybe can water, and God will give the increase. So with that, guys, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And yeah, check out realmelanieking.com. The link will be below to help support.
That's what's up, realmelanieking.com. Let's keep it moving forward.
And now at 7, 2 U.S. citizens were among the 10 men in a high-seas shootout with Cuban Coast Guard agents last night. That is according to U.S. officials. We've also learned the boat had been stolen from the Florida Keys the day before. Cuban officials claim the passengers were armed Cubans living in the United States, intending to infiltrate the island and unleash terrorism. 4 of the men were killed in the gunfight. 6 others were hurt. But some Cuban Americans and South Florida leaders say they are not ready to accept that version of events.
That sounds stupid.
Anything against the Cuban government, I'm for it. What do you believe from these people? I mean, there's nothing to believe.
We have got to know what happened from an international perspective and a diplomacy perspective, but we also have to have an investigation that gives closure to the families of those affected.
Well, CBS News, my name is Anna McAllister, is your reporter live in Big Pine Key tonight. She is at the home where that boat was taken. Anna.
Jim, we just got here about 25 minutes ago, and when we got here, there were about 3 Homeland Security officers, and their eyes are all on that white Chevy pickup truck that you see behind me. Now, according to the victim, he noticed that his boat wasn't here yesterday, but he did say he noticed that white pickup truck, and law enforcement confirms that it's owned by Hector Cruz Carrera. Now, according to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Carrera sometimes does tiling for the victim and has family in Cuba, including 2 young children. The victim says he initially thought that Carrera took the boat out fishing. According to a witness who lives nearby, a man got out of this white pickup truck and stepped onto the boat around 6:30 Tuesday night, something the witness considered to be unusual. The victim says he didn't realize his boat was stolen and involved in the shootout about a mile off the coast of Cuba until he started getting calls from the media. Then he went to police. The Cuban embassy says that Carrera was one of the 4 people shot and killed by the Cuban Coast Guard. CBS News Miami was there today when Carrera's wife found out what happened to her husband.
Cuba dio a conocer los nombres de los fallecidos y él está entre ellos. No. Sí.
Cuba's Interior Ministry reports that the boat was full of assault rifles, homemade bombs, and other weapons. Officials say that 6 other people on board that stolen boat were injured during the shooting, and several people were taken into custody. And Jim, like you mentioned, U.S. officials, they're working to confirm this information on their own. This includes federal and state agencies working together to figure out the details of exactly what happened during the shootout. And of course, as we learn more tonight, we'll update you on air and online. But for now, reporting live from Big Pine Key, Anna McAllister, CBS News, Miami.
We'll see what kind of corroboration occurs. Anna, thank you. Now, the vessel we're talking about is a 24-foot Proline motorboat made in 1981, similar to this one that you see. As we mentioned tonight, Cuban officials released the names of all 10 men on board. Among the 4 killed.
Okay. Sorry, I had to stop the video. I'm sorry. Look at this fucking boat. Why are they showing me a fucking picture from the fucking 80s? You can't put up a picture of the boat? Like, I'm pretty sure the family has fucking pictures of that fucking boat. But no, they had to go into their archives and bring out this old image. And and you could tell it's from the fucking 80s. It kind of reminds me of a false flag that happened before. I wonder what was that? During the Kennedy years? Yeah. It smells like a little false flag. I don't know. It's just weird. Why would you want to go to Cuba? Like, and then get into a gun battle with the Cuban military? Like, that was a pure suicide mission. Now they say there's some survivors, some injured, I guess, survivors. What are they gonna do with those people? Who are those people? Can we get some pictures? Because why would you go like a whole group of people? So there's like, they say, I guess there are like 6 people that were like injured or like survivors, whatever, of the chaos, and 4 people died. So there was like a total of 10 people on that boat. 10 people on that boat. Were there a pack of fucking sardines? Were there like pack of sausages? You know those little sausages that come in a can, and they're like packing that can, and they put like 10 sausages in it. That's what this boat would have been, a fucking sausage party going to Cuba to wreak havoc. Like, and why now out of all times? Like, it makes zero. I don't know. And why would they go towards Cuba? Like for what? Oh, because they wanted to wreak havoc. What? I don't know. Let's go back to the fucking story. It's so stupid.
This Michelle Ortega Casanova from Tampa. He attended rallies advocating for freedom in Cuba. Ortega's family tells CBS News they have not received any information and are pleading for answers on how to recover his body.
Why would he be going over there? That makes it's just it makes zero sense. You know what I mean? It just you know what? Let me see which one's shorter. Let's see this one.
Entre los fallecidos se identificó a Michelle Ortega Casanova.
Tonight, the Cuban government has released the names of those involved after a deadly confrontation in Cuban waters. This comes after Cuban officials said that a Florida-registered boat violated their waters this morning, triggering an armed confrontation with Cuban border guard troops. 4 people on the vessel were killed and at least 6 people were hurt. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jawan Strader. We have live team coverage for you tonight. NBC6's Lorena Inclán joins us in the Keys with the latest developments. But we start with NBC6's Valerie Ryan, who joins us in Little Havana with more from U.S.
And
officials.
they took it over there. Like, I don't get it.
Well, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says he will not be speculating without evidence, but the Department of Homeland Security and the Coast Guard are now involved. And Rubio is also saying that the U.S. Embassy is on the ground in Havana investigating as we speak.
A situation that we're monitoring. Hopefully it's not as bad as we fear it could be, but can't say more because I just don't know more.
Cuban officials say Wednesday a Florida-registered boat entered what they call prohibited waters, 1 nautical mile northeast of El Pino Channel in Cayos Falcones. Cuba's Interior Ministry says its vessel approached the boat to ask for identification. Authorities claim someone on the U.S. boat opened fire, injuring the commander of the Cuban vessel. They say Cuban officers then fired back.
Suffice it to say, it is highly unusual to see shootouts in open sea like that. It's not something that happens every day. It's something, frankly, that hasn't happened with Cuba in a very long time. But we're going to find out. We're not going to base our conclusions on what they've told us.
Cuban officials say 4 people were killed, 6 others were injured and taken into custody. The Cuban government claims all the people involved are Cubans living in the United States.
We have our embassy on the ground in Havana working this as we speak, asking for access to the people that were on those vessels, if they were American citizens or permanent residents.
Rubio did confirm the boat was not affiliated with the U.S. government. Ramon Saul Sanchez, president of the Democracy Movement, says there were several reasons why the boat was near the island.
The first one, people going in there to try to retrieve their relatives from Cuba due to the dire economic and political situation that Cuba is now living under. Second, human trafficking. And the third issue, it could be Cuban exiles trying to do something to overthrow the Cuban regime.
And when we know, then we'll tell you, and we'll do what needs to be done about it.
That makes zero sense. 10 people are not going to overthrow Cuba.
Again, United States officials have
and they're not even trained.
Information that the
what are they going to go with? What weaponry?
But we'll continue to keep you updated as this story develops. We're live in Little Havana. Valerie Ryan, NBC6 News.
All right, Valerie, and our team coverage continues tonight with Lorena Inclán, who joins us in Key West with the latest developments. Lorena.
Well, it's important to know that much of the information that we have is coming from the Cuban ministry.
Okay, I have something just came through my head, so I gotta speak up. Fuck the news. Listen, this just came through my head, right? They were probably going over there to pick something up. I don't think they went there to be. I don't know why. Like, it's like zooming in. It's like, listen to him. Like, it zoomed in by itself. Like, you gotta listen to me. Okay, let's back that out. They probably went to pick people up. I don't understand them having weapons and bombs in the boat. Why would they, like, for what? I don't know the story. It's not making any sense. I think that's what the United States is thinking. Because there's a possibility that these people were probably doing some kind of like missionary, like mission type of thing. And they were going there either to maybe pick somebody up or throw something, or I don't know what they were thinking, or what. The only thing I'm thinking is probably they were trying to pick some people up, and then they got caught by the military, and they try to gun it like to get out of there, and the military opened fire. And the reason why the United States is getting so much involved in this now is because they want to see the bodies and see where the bullets come, like how did they got killed, and where was it where they shot from behind, because that would make like they were pursuing them, and they opened fire and they killed the people on the boat. So that's a big, they need to do an autopsy to see where was the entry of the bullets. And then, of course, interviewing the remaining people there. I guess they're survivors. I'm assuming. Are they in Cuban custody? Are they like like? There's more to the story. I'm just, to me, I feel like they were being chased, and then the Cuban people opened fire, like the military opened fire and eliminated the individuals, which was about 4 individuals they killed. So, and I'm pretty sure the other ones that survived, they hit the deck, they went below, and this is going to be everything's so happening. So the world is so unstable right now. The world is so unstable. You have everything that's going on right now in Mexico. Now you have this little incident with Cuba, and now you have this big, like the big show with Iran. This is going to be it's going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. And just thank God you're alive to witness it. All right, let's continue on with this news.
Of the Interior and Cuba's state-run media. The boat involved, according to Cuban authorities, is registered here in Florida, and the owner, according to what we've seen in public records, has a home here in the Keys, which is what brought us out here. We haven't been able to get in touch with him yet, but we now know the names that the Cuban officials are putting out there, saying that these were the people involved in this shootout. Cuba's state-run media is describing Wednesday's incident off its central coast as a terrorist plot by heavily armed U.S. residents. Tonight, in a press release issued by Cuban authorities, the names of those aboard a boat the regime says illegally entered Cuban waters, including 6 people the regime says are currently detained. But we spoke to a man who claims his name was listed, Roberto Ascorra Consuegra. Tells NBC6 he's not in Cuba, but rather here in the United States. Ascorra says he was surprised to see his name on an official press release. According to the Cuban government, a total of 10 people aboard a Florida-registered boat came within 1 nautical mile northeast of El Pino Channel in Cayo Falcones. When a Cuban border guard approached to ask for identification, the people aboard the boat opened fire, injuring a commander of the Cuban vessel. Cuban officials go on to say that 4, quote, aggressors were killed and 6 were wounded. According to public records, the man who owned the boat involved in the shootout with the Cuban military owns this home in Miami Lakes. A reporter from our station was outside the Miami Lakes home when 2 people who identified themselves as FBI agents approached the front door. That agent spoke with a family member through a doorbell camera. We have attempted to reach family members connected to this address and have not heard back yet. And we are still trying to get in touch with all the names that were released in that official press release from the Cuban government. And again, it's important to reiterate that much of this information is coming from the Cuban government itself. And the U.S., as Valerie mentioned, trying to confirm some of the details. We'll continue to work this story. And as soon as we get more information, we will let you know. For now, reporting live from Marathon, Lorena Inclán, NBC6 News.
And Lorena, U.S. Representative Carlos Jimenez released a statement on X earlier today that reads in part, quote, I am calling for an immediate investigation into this massacre. The regime in Cuba must be relegated to the dustbin of history for its countless crimes against humanity, end quote.
This is a false flag event.
Posted a statement
I'm
on
sorry.
Reads, quote, we
this is a
need
false
full
flag event.
investigation into this deeply concerning situation and to determine what happened. The communist Cuban regime must be held accountable. Meanwhile, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer posted a statement on social media that reads him.
First of all, look at the accountable. We don't even hold our own fucking government accountable. And we're here talking about the Cuban government to hold them accountable and cannot be trusted. You think the Americans could be trusted? You think the Democrats could be trusted? Okay. All right. Like I said, I got plenty of bridges out here in Connecticut. I can sell you. Just deposit the money in my account. Like I said, I can do better with it. I feel like this is a false flag event to stir up again. Like back, I'm telling you, we're repeating history. We're going back to JFK days. You know, going right back to the JFK days, false flags, talks of war, and all this crazy shit going on.
Quote, the Cuban government cannot be trusted, and we will do everything in our power to hold these communists accountable. And
Wow. The way they worded it, too. Let's go to more crooked craziness. Oh, Lord. Not this crazy bitch.
It's very simple. Did your husband fly to Epstein Island to party buck naked with Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates and his ugly ass titties? Yes or no?
What the fuck?
Not going to answer any questions, huh? Okay, let's try this one. Did you kill Jeffrey Epstein and made it look like a suicide, just like you did with the other 200 or so associates around you and your husband that mysteriously died? I mean, one of them shot himself 3 times in the back, Mrs. Clinton. Now, how is that even humanly possible?
What the hell? No, Benny didn't do that.
Well, chat, we successfully pissed off Hillary Clinton today by posting this photo of her not looking great or happy in front of the Epstein investigation committee that is currently grilling her in her hometown of Chappaqua in New York. This photo was given to us by Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Hillary was so pissed off that we posted it, and it went viral that she stormed out of the Epstein hearing and then sent her little press flax to go attack us in front of the building where she's testifying. Listen to this.
If you look on your Twitter feed, you know who it came from? It came from Benny Johnson. He said Lauren Boebert gave it. Yeah, look at Benny Johnson's feed.
Okay, well,
We'll be back. Thanks.
if you looked at Benny Johnson's feed, honestly, I cannot believe this is happening. What you'd find is, again, this photo. I told you who gave it to me, Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert apparently pissed off the committee staff enough that they stormed out of the building. Lauren Boebert is there at the Hillary Clinton testimony. Here she is right here with the Republican members of Congress. You know some of them, Anna Paulina Luna, James Comer, and so on. Lauren Boebert sent us the photo and said we can post it. And that's what I did. Here's the full shot of Hillary Clinton at her little deposition here. And again, she doesn't look happy. This is what the room looks like. And, well, they ended the deposition for a time because they were so furious about it, but it makes absolutely no sense. They're saying that this broke protocol and they're demanding the press come in. They're so angry at a photo being taken that they now want thousands of photos to be taken of the deposition. Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. They're trying to avoid answering the questions. TMZ writing this up. It's an insane cope and drama from the team Hillary Clinton. And we are so proud to have pissed off Hillary Clinton today. I just want to say I'm not suicidal. I'm not suicidal. Here's a first look at Hillary Clinton testifying under oath.
Yeah, because you will kill your ass.
Inside of the room from TMZ. Oh, no. They're big mad about this. Who cares? Who cares? She doesn't look great. And the reason she doesn't look great is because she doesn't want to be there, because she doesn't want to be found liable of contempt of Congress or perjury. She's already lied. Here's Hillary Clinton's little mewling statement saying that she never met Jeffrey Epstein. As I stated, I have no idea about their criminal activities. I don't recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. I never flew on his plane, visited his island, but your husband did a lot. I have nothing more to add. That's strange. I mean, these are the kind of things that Hillary Clinton doesn't want to answer questions about. Like, for instance, she said that she never met Jeffrey Epstein. All right.
That's
what
a
about
lie.
all of these emails talking about meetings with Hillary Clinton? Could you organize a meeting with Hillary Clinton in New York? Who should we ask? I know you're really close with Hillary, but if she gets the nomination and you vote for her, I'll kill you. Okay. These are directly from Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton fundraiser. Please come to my Hillary Clinton fundraiser. That one from Howard Lutnick. Yikes. Meeting with Hillary Clinton are not easily discreet. When? Look at that. Could you organize a discreet meeting? Hillary Clinton? Isn't that wild? This one's really special. Hillary Clinton. I do not recall ever encountering Epstein. Meanwhile, Epstein once said of Hillary Clinton, she's much prettier in person.
Wow.
So obvious. High heels, walk, not great idea. You carry me. Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person. So how would Jeffrey Epstein know that exactly? They're lying. So they're trying to get out of it by blaming me. That's what's happening right now. I was perfectly honest about what happened. You have every right to post a photo. Bill Clinton flew on the Epstein plane 27 times. They were in business together. Ghislaine Maxwell was at her daughter's wedding. I can't wait for the video to be released. Hillary looks terrible. This, of course, video and this photo that I was able to leak has gone thermonuclear viral. It's all across the internet. And this is the first photo. And I don't know, we've worked with Lauren Boebert for a long time. She's a friend of the show. And I apologize for absolutely nothing. I swear to God, somebody better get cuffed and perp walked soon or I'm going to lose my mind. Hillary looks very uncomfortable and pissed all at once. First image of Hillary Clinton testifying. She's not looking good. Oh my. What's going to happen with this? Apparently, Ghislaine Maxwell was there just as a guest of somebody else. She was a date. She was a +1. Yeah. We just had to fix her for the world's foremost pedophile that you know. Hillary Clinton's like, I don't know. I've never met her. I don't know. Hillary Clinton looks like she's going to prison. Chaos erupts. Hillary halts Epstein deposition after MAGA lawmaker took a photo. Now we want more photos. Chaos erupted inside of Hillary Clinton's Jeffrey Epstein deposition because Lauren Boebert snapped a photo and leaked it to MAGA influencer Benny Johnson. It's not purportedly leaked it. She literally did do that. I'm telling you that because that's what happened. Hillary's lawyers asked for the proceeding to be halted after the picture began circulating on social media. It's prohibited for them to take the photo. The photo was taken before the hearing began. It was taken before the deposition began. She's a member of Congress. And this is insane because Hillary Clinton and her team wanted all of this to be televised. They wanted the whole thing to be on TV. They wanted all the press there. And now they're upset that a photo is being taken. The whole thing's stupid. Obviously, it's also silly because this is all being recorded and they're going to be releasing all of the video of the deposition. It's hilarious they're trying to use this to weasel out of answering questions on Jeffrey Epstein. So that's exactly what they did. And then they send out their little flacks out here to whine and cry about me. Isn't that insane? Hillary Clinton is furious. She's scrambling. Hearing is on hold. It's not like she's eye candy. Clinton advisors are now erupting. Look at Twitter. Look at Benny Johnson. Dude, whatever.
Bover gave it. If you're looking on your Twitter feed, you know who it came from? It came from Benny Johnson. He said Lauren Bover gave it.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. They're all like freaking out on corporate media now. They're raging. I am howling. I am laughing. MSNBC refuses to say my name and didn't get the story right. Listen to this.
So there has been a back and forth, Chris, over the course of the last half an hour about a picture that was tweeted out of Hillary Clinton sitting in this closed door deposition here in Chappaqua. It was tweeted by Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, who's one of the Republican
That's
members
not true.
of that committee. I think we
Lauren
can show
didn't
you
tweet
the
it.
picture on the screen. There's nothing crazy to see here. It's Hillary Clinton sitting.
Yes, there's nothing. It wasn't tweeted by Lauren Boebert. It's tweeted by me. Whatever. They refuse on MS Now to say my name. I pissed off Hillary Clinton today, and I am not suicidal. That's a fact.
Oh no, he's not doing that.
If anything happens to me, his headline goes crazy. Hillary Clinton lawyers end deposition. Photos of Hillary mid testimony leaked to Benny Johnson. Yeah, what's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that. It was authorized. It's hilarious. They're trying to use this. Benny did nothing wrong, says Lauren Boebert. Proceed with the deposition. And it is proceeding. It is underway. Still, Hillary Clinton looking at my X feed.
Oh,
sorry, I'm having too much fun with this. I am so thrilled, chat, that we were able to get Hillary Clinton to lose her mind today and have a total and complete crash out. This makes me extra happy. This makes me very, very happy. So please.
And I'm not suicidal.
Keep winning.
Lord.
And
She will
we'll
get
keep
you
posting
killed.
photos. You're not going to stop us. And keep trying to figure out a way to get out of this one. Not going to work. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe to piss off Hillary Clinton.
All right, let's keep it moving.
I answered every one of their questions as fully as I could, based on what I knew. And what I knew is what I said in my statement this morning. I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection.
Are you kidding me?
With him, I knew.
Oh, what a bullshit liar.
But whatever they asked me, I did my very best to
Oh
respond.
my God. Yo, we live in hell. You know that, right?
Disappointing that they refused to hold a public hearing, so I wouldn't have to be out here characterizing it for you. You could have seen it for yourself. We had asked for that. We think it would have been
so
better
relevant
for the committee and its efforts to gather whatever information they are seeking. We had a bit of a challenge in the beginning because we had agreed upon rules based on the fact it was going to be a closed hearing at their demand. And one of the members violated that rule.
It's Benny Johnson.
Very upsetting because it suggested that they might
They don't
violate other
respect you.
of our agreements.
You're
So
just
we
the president's
had to
wife.
cease the
Who
hearing
are
for
you?
a period of time until we could get
Oh,
assurances
because you're Secretary of
that
the
no
Secretary of
rules would
State.
be,
Like,
broken
who
going
are
forward,
you?
and we
You're
returned
the president's
to answer
wife.
questions repetitively, literally
you're
over
just
and over again.
Listen,
I don't
you're
know how
crazy.
many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never
Oh,
went to his
Lord.
homes. I never went to his offices.
This fish
So it's on the record
She is
numerous
crazy.
times. It then got at the
Look at those
end
crazy eyes.
quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs.
Look, you
and
see?
a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on
Oh,
the internet,
Lord.
that was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me.
She know what it is.
So
She's
I
acting
can only
stupid.
say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end, when, contrary to every other deposition they have taken, no Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed. And in fact, the Republican members didn't even
What?
show up for the deposition of Les Wexner. And when I
Who
said
she
that,
throwing the
I
bus?
had to point out that the only questions that any Republican member asked of any of the people they deposed was of former Attorney General Bill Barr, when Chairman Comer asked him about the allegations, in his view, about Russia's involvement in my election in 2016. So at the very end of this hearing, after I made that point, I want to commend Chairman Comer for raising a series of significant questions that I responded to about the nature of the investigation and the areas that I
Why
thought
she's not in
should be
handcuffs?
explored. So
Like,
I
she's such a
appreciated that.
gaslighter.
I want to see
Yo, I'm too
the
good.
truth come
I read
out.
people.
So that
You
was
guys are not used
a
to it, but if
reassuring
you were on
way
my
to
show,
end
you could tell I know how to read
a very
people.
long, repetitive
This
deposition.
lady, something's wrong. Madam Secretary. She's not a secretary. Why do they keep on calling her Madam Secretary? Her name's Hillary Clinton.
Is referenced in the Epstein files numerous times, including in some photos featuring women. And how have you been personally preparing for the deposition that is coming tomorrow? Are you 100% confident that there isn't anything that the former president knows about Epstein's crimes?
I am, and I think the chronology of
You see how
the
she looks
connection
down
that
to
he
the
had
fucking
with
right?
Epstein,
She's fucking lying, man.
ended
She's a fucking
several
liar.
years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light, and that he was charged and sadly given a sweetheart deal, which, as I said in my statement,
She's,
had
yeah,
that not
sweetheart deal.
happened,
He's out. He's not
Epstein's
even in
predatory
jail.
behavior could have been stopped
He's
earlier.
somewhere. Who knows
But
where he's at? Can
I
we
think
pull
it
up
is
the
fair to
body?
say
Can
that
we
the
exhume
vast
the
majority
body
of people who had
and do
contact
a
with him
DNA test to
before
make sure that's Jeffrey
his
Epstein?
criminal pleas in
Like,
08
we need to know this.
were like most people. They did not know what he was doing. And I think that that is exactly what my husband will testify to tomorrow.
Madam Secretary, can I ask? Why was Ghislaine Maxwell? Why was Ghislaine?
Do you believe this was a fair hearing? And do you still want to testify publicly, even though you gave this deposition? Oh, I'm not going to do it again. They had a chance to do it in public, and I wish they had done it in public. And I think they're making the wrong decision, avoiding doing it in public. I thought it was very repetitive. I thought that they asked literally the same questions over and over again.
You know, they recorded this.
Didn't seem to me to be very productive. And then, as I said, toward the end, there were other questions that were totally off subject. So if they are going to fulfill their responsibilities to literally investigate the investigations, which is what they originally said was the scope of their work, I think they could have spent the day more productively.
Oh, there's the head twitching. Oh my God.
Can I ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell invited to your daughter Chelsea Clinton's wedding in 2010? She'd already been mentioned in a civil lawsuit mentioned your true phrase before that. Jeffrey Epstein already been convicted before.
She came as the +1, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Oh, that's what she's gonna answer? What a bullshit.
I don't know when the video will be out. I don't know when the transcript will be
Ah,
out.
you
We've
see?
asked that they be out as quickly as possible, and then you can see everything. Thank you.
You can see everything. Yo, that was a sham. What they did, listen. The elite never gets in trouble. They barely get this. They barely get this. Barely. Even if you look at them like a certain way, they don't even get that. There's no accountability, man. There's no accountability. Like, I'm waiting for the world to blow up, and this is gonna be like me right here in my little land, and I'm gonna be holding the balloons, and that's it. Just me by myself with a tree and my balloons. Oh goodness gracious! If you believe that Hillary shit, like, and the fact that she was going, like, her head was twitching like a freaking, like, she was going back and forth, and then someone had to tell her, that guy over there, okay, and then she turned her head and she's like, oh yeah, you, because they told her, because she was doing like it was malfunctioning. Her head was malfunctioning. Let's go back and see. Watch. We can do that. Let's let me set it up. Let me find it where she was doing the head swivels. I'm not gonna listen to the whole shit, so I'm just gonna see if I can catch the head swivels. All right, let's see. See if we can make it big. All right, let's see if we catch it. So left, right, him. Okay, you see, someone told her who to talk to. Like, look, like who should I talk to? Oh, him. Oh, him. Okay. I got plenty of bridges. Maybe we could do a bridge that could go from like my little island here and then jump over to here. That'd be great. All right, this is how I feel. I feel like this right here, like this video right here, this is how I feel about Hillary Clinton. This is how I feel about her. There you go. Oh my God. 2 cars fall into a hole. That's fucking crazy. Oh, hell no. Look, these cars are backing up. They're like, let me get the fuck out of here. And this one stopped. He's like, oh, no. I'm not crossing through here. I don't know if that's going to give way. Like, this lady's coming over here to try to get this. I don't know what she's trying to do here. Look, this car is jumping over the sidewalk. Like, what the hell is this? Fast and the Furious got on the sidewalk? What's going on here? Oh my God. I guess it's his girlfriend. Me and my girlfriend. The girlfriend's gonna watch. She ain't gonna go. She's smart. Don't get close. No, I was calling you smart. Stay away from that. And these cars are just passing by it like that. They're fucking crazy. I would not go through there. Like, that's wild. Damn. That's how I feel. But I wanted to see something. Right in the beginning, there was something that passed right here. What does it says on here? I want to know what that vehicle says. So we're going to go slow motion. Because, why not? So let's make it really slow. Extra slow. All right, here we go. Let's see what it says. Future leaders inside. Future leaders inside. What are the coincidence of this happening with this message posting right before a hole just like a sinkhole or something just gives way and two vehicles goes in? Future leaders inside. And as soon as the future leaders inside pass, look at the vehicles, poof, right when it passes by. That's what I feel about the future leaders. We're fucked. And this happened in where? Nebraska? Hold on. It says it here. Omaha, Nebraska. Look at that. Omaha. This truck was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I would have been putting that shit on reverse already. I would have been backing out. I don't know why it took so long for them to realize that, holy shit, these fucking cars are in a hole and I could be next. I would be backing the fuck up already. Look how slow it took them. Oh my god. Hell no. Hell to the no. All right, let's bring it back to normal. Let's go ahead and close this out because we're gonna watch something else. Hey, that's how I feel about the Hillary Clinton. Futures leaders inside. Big ass sinkhole opens up. 2 cars go in. Welcome to hell, everyone. I'm glad you're here. We just witnessed the biggest fraudster in American history. I never met Epstein. I never spoken to him. I don't even know who he is. Oh, can we bring up all the deleted emails, the email dump that she did? Oh, that had evidence that she was in communications with Epstein. I can't make this shit up. This is stupid. We live in a fucking stupid world. And you guys are all part of this fucking shit. We're all in this together. We are witnessing history. And are we gonna trust the Clintons? Do we trust what they say? Hell fuck no. I don't trust anything that the fucking Clintons ever say. I did not have sex. Or was it? I did not have sexual relations with that lady. Yeah, I banged her. Not once, but a whole bunch of times. And what did they do to him? What did they do to him? No, don't, no. That's it. That's what you got. No accountability. All right, let's continue with Liberal Hive Mind.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. You know, there's always a difference of perception based on your vantage point. You know, you may have one event happen and 2 different people have seen it from 2 different angles, and that could lead to a situation where you have 2 completely different interpretations, or you'll have a situation where one person was on the ground and saw things happen in real time, whereas other people may have seen it, you know, through a camera lens, through one specific angle, and those viewing, I guess, from a third-party perspective, you know, just aren't able to catch all the details. I guess all this to say that, you know, to really know what happened, you had to have been there. And while we were all watching the State of the Union from home, seeing Democrats and their disgraceful behavior on display, well, it appears we actually didn't even get the full picture. We weren't able to see all the little nuances, all the little details. But luckily enough, in comes JD Vance explaining exactly what happened and how it felt to a much better degree of detail. And as you can imagine, with most thing's DNC related. It's a whole lot worse than you actually think. And it also seems to speak to exactly what we've been talking about for years, that the Democrat Party no longer has principles. Now it's just about placating to the far left base, especially during a midterm election. Let me show you guys this very interesting insight from Vice President J.D. Vance, his perception at the State of the Union address. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at J.D. Vance's interesting observation as he was observing Democrats during the night.
I saw a couple of things, Bill. First of all, obviously, most Democrats didn't stand up or clap. And what a shame that is. What a sad commentary that is on the Democratic Party, that the idea that the American government should stand for American citizens, not illegal aliens, that shouldn't be controversial, but apparently it was to the Democrats. But I will say, Bill, something that I saw that probably most TV viewers didn't see was really the cowardice, because there were a few Democrats who sort of politely clapped. They didn't want to stand up. I guess maybe they were worried about being primaried by the far left fringe of their party, but they were all looking around. They weren't actually saying, you know what? I'm going to stand and support this because this is a common sense, obvious statement. They were all looking around for cues from their colleagues because they didn't have the courage to stand on their own. And that, more than anything, Bill, is the saddest commentary on the Democratic Party, that not only will they not stand for the idea that Americans should come first, they won't even have the courage of their convictions. They lean on the person to their left and their right rather than actually have some conviction. That is unfortunately what's true about Democrats in Washington today.
You know, it's basically visual confirmation of exactly what we've been saying. The Democrats know they're wrong. Everyone knows they're wrong. Even CBS admitted it last night.
Before the speech, many Republicans said one of the priorities for the president was to make sure Americans after this speech had a sense that the opposition party was off the rails, was crazy, their terminology, not mine. Many of the contrasts the president articulated tonight were to drive that message forward, that not only do I disagree with the opposition party sitting before me in Congress, but I disagree with them so strongly and they with me so much that they can't even applaud basic common sense thing. And that line that you mentioned, that he added to the speech, whether it was ad-libbed or not, the first obligation, American citizens versus illegal aliens, was meant to create a visual moment of perpetual contrast.
There were so many disgusting moments. You had this incredible young man who Trump was giving an award to and praising. This is the young army pilot who led the Maduro raid, and according to reports, his legs were sliced up by enemy fire. This man is an American hero. He risked his life to do what Democrats have been calling to do for a very long time, right? When Joe Biden was in office, oh, Maduro, we have to get him. We have to get him. It's the most important foreign policy issue in our hemisphere. That's basically what they were saying. Well, this guy did the damn job, and he made an incredible physical sacrifice in that effort, and Democrats couldn't even stand up. They didn't bother to even clap for him. I mean, that was disgusting. And what I said in my initial reaction was that, Democrats know that what they're doing is wrong. They knew that it was wrong during Trump's first address to not stand up and clap for the young boy who was fighting cancer. They know it's wrong to stay seated. When Trump asked to please stand up if you believe that the American people should be put ahead of illegal immigrants, and yet they do it anyways. Because of course, it's all about the left-wing base, the far leftoids. They know that they have to placate to this absolutely insane crowd because the far left is their base. Those are the registered Democrats. Those are the people who show up to vote in their primaries. Those are the people who show up to vote for them in the midterms. And of course, they understand that these people are the most politically engaged and activated, and so they would rather pander to their morally bankrupt base than say the right thing. Time and time and time again, we see it across so many issues. Look what's happening right now on voter ID, right? An absolute supermajority and beyond a supermajority. Over 80%, nearly unanimously, the American people support voter ID, but Democrats just will not vote for the bill. Democrats also know that the American people support ICE. They support the DHS. They don't want to see it defunded. Yet the Democrats are shutting down the government to do exactly that, even though they can't even accomplish that. And really all they're doing is hurting TSA agents and other departments. It's just an irredeemable political culture. And J.D. Vance's observation shows you how broken it is. You have these people who are representatives, and they're supposed to be representing the American people and especially their constituents. And their constituents means everyone in their district, not just the far left psychos. And when you elect somebody to represent you, you hope that they're authentic. You hope that they're going to have the moral wherewithal to actually stand up for the right thing, to be real, to be true. But none of these Democrats are real. They're freaking bots. Everything's controlled by the puppet masters, top down. It's a whole power structure. And so instead of rising to the occasion and doing the right thing, they're all looking around. Do I have permission? Has Nancy Pelosi granted me permission to clap? Oh, are other people clapping if I clap to this? Will the far left base now try to primary me? It's a totally unsustainable political culture. It's a culture that, in my view, should be eradicated. It should die. It's horrible. It's awful. And it materializes in the most despicable frickin' moments. It's brought political discourse to such a low level because instead of doing the right thing, instead of being moral, instead of having good character, it's all about division and extreme partisanship. This is the right thing, but I won't stand up. I'll put a horrible signal out there because Donald Trump is the one who said it. What a stupid, unethical standard. And if it's not that, it's just being disruptive and annoying. Freaking Ilhan Omar and her ragtag crew of people who should probably be deported. Throughout almost the entirety of Trump's speech, they were just yelling and accosting.
Sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
And then when questioned on CNN, she doubled down.
Guidelines set out by your own leader.
No, I think it was really unavoidable. The president talked about protecting Americans, and I just had to remind him that his administration was responsible for killing 2 of my constituents.
Many members of your Democratic Party criticized their Republican counterparts when they interrupted President Biden's State of the Union address, as a lot of us remember. Do you have any regrets at all about the interaction we played between you and President Trump just last night?
I do not. I think many people look at that moment when the president says it is our responsibility to protect Americans, and he does not acknowledge the fact that 2 Americans, 2 of my constituents, 2 of our neighbors were killed.
Donald Trump is responsible for killing 2 of my constituents. You know, that's such BS. It's not even funny. If anything, Ilhan, you are more responsible for those 2 people's deaths, radicalizing them and encouraging them to mobilize against ICE agents on the street. Not to mention one of those people almost engaged in vehicular homicide and was simply dealt with. You know, again, being loud, being obnoxious, being defiant for the purpose of defiance, being irrational, unethical, morally bankrupt, and then justifying it all with a flat-out lie and more extreme, exaggerated, hyperbolic rhetoric. It's an irredeemable political culture. What else needs to be said? Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, let me set up the next one because I got a nice little rebuttal to what Hillary did today. Let me set it up here real quick, and we're going to watch another of Melody King.
What role, if any, did you play in criticizing the character of the women who have accused Bill of sexual misconduct?
None. If somebody's willing to pay you $130,000 or $170,000 to say something, and you get your 15 minutes of fame, and you get your picture on the front page of every newspaper, and you're some failed cabaret singer who doesn't even have much of a resume to fall back on, and what's there she's lied about. You know, that's the daughter of Willie Horton, as far as I'm concerned.
Hillary Clinton holds a press conference declaring herself a victim after being questioned about Pizzagate, UFOs, and child trafficking during her deposition. She says Pizzagate is one of the most bogus conspiracy theories ever created. Wow. I cannot believe this woman. Well, of course. Why are you confused, Melanie? Of course she's going to deny these things. Of course, they're all going to deny it. Why would I believe any truth will come out of this? But let's hear it from Hillary's mouth.
It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet, that was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me. So I can only say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end when, contrary to every other deposition they have taken, no Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed.
Well, this is quite rich coming from her, because I remember specifically when Pizzagate broke, I was deep into these files. I saw all of the trafficking. I saw it tied to the Clinton Foundation going back to Haiti, seeing her emails where she's sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch. And if chicken, if you don't know, is a code word for a baby boy, this is disgusting. But talking about being debunked, Pizzagate was never debunked. Never, ever debunked. There was a media campaign to completely shut down anyone talking about it. And I believe even the guy who shot up the pizza parlor, Comet Ping Pong, he goes there. I think he was a Fed. It was a PSYOP. He goes there, shoots into Comet Ping Pong, and just so happens, well, his bullet hits right through their servers, the computer servers. Then he was arrested, and we don't know whatever happened to him. Really? Is that what you want to tell me? I am just in shock. Like we've seen with John Podesta. We can get into Madeleine McCain, where John Podesta, his brother, Tony Podesta, and even Ghislaine Maxwell match the exact sketches that what people did and described to the police there of who they saw taking Madeleine McCain. And it's those three people. But talking about being debunked, okay, look at this. All of the journalists that debunked it, it was never, guys, they just say it's debunked. They say it's too crazy to question. It's too crazy. Why are you asking questions? This is just such nonsense. Why would anyone believe? That is the debunking. That's what they try to do. But it says here, John Podesta's friend, actually, I have a bigger version, but these are several, sorry guys, several of the people who debunked it, every single one of them were arrested or convicted for having CP, or literally, as you can see here, what's on the screen, I'm not going to say it, but for doing something to toddlers. Every single one who was one of these people who did this. But I have a bigger version of that first one, because this was the one that really blew my mind. So it says, John Podesta's friend who debunked Pizzagate arrested for grape soda with toddlers. Slade Somer, editor-in-chief at The Recount and friend of former Hillary Clinton campaign chair John Podesta, was arrested last month for violating multiple toddlers and babies. You really want to play this game, Hillary? Absolutely, absolutely not. Because I think, in my opinion, Pizzagate, those files were worse because of the imagery that came out of it and the direct links to the trafficking. I mean, they have the NAMBLA symbol, okay? National Association of is Man, Boy. I don't want to say certain things, okay? Even the pizza, they had Comet Ping Pong, and then the pizza, Besta Pizza, which was next door. Two pizza places right next door to each other. Well, you have all this going on with Comet Ping Pong, but then next door, their symbol was the actual symbol for NAMBLA, okay? These are grown men who like to do what this man was arrested for. And she says this. Guys, this is insane.
You spoke in your opening remarks about how heartbroken you have been for the Epstein survivors as these files have come out. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you have processed and reacted to the fact that the former president, your husband, Bill Clinton, is referenced in the Epstein files numerous times, including in some photos featuring women? And how have you been personally preparing for the deposition that is coming tomorrow? Are you 100% confident that there isn't anything that the former president knows about Epstein's crimes?
I am, and I think the chronology of the connection that he had with Epstein ended several years.
The hell, Epstein.
Anything about
Is that his new name?
Epstein's criminal activities came to light, and that he was charged and sadly given a sweetheart deal, which, as I said in my statement, had that not happened, perhaps his predatory behavior could have been stopped earlier. But
And whose fault is that,
I think
honey?
it is fair to say that the vast majority of
Whose fault is
people
that?
who had contact with him before
You're gonna blame Trump for that too?
his criminal pleas in 2008 were like most people. They did not know what he was doing. And I think that's that is exactly what
Yes, maybe
my
like-
husband will testify to tomorrow.
Okay.
John Podesta, can you please explain why you have children rented for entertainment for your adult hot tub parties? No one has ever explained why John Podesta has literal pedophile and cannibalism paintings all over his office and his home. Tony Podesta too. And then you look into the spirit cooking dinners, and you look at Marina Abramovic, who's the one that was conducting the spirit cooking dinners.
Huh.
Why are they going to spirit cooking dinners? Why are they sacrificing chickens to Moloch in their backyard? This isn't my words. This is their words. This is in their emails.
Now, Hillary, after all of this,
And she tried to dump those emails.
had no idea, nothing. We've seen all the images.
tried to
We know
dump
all the
them.
information, guys. They're just playing games, playing all of these games with us. But she was asked another question about Ghislaine Maxwell being at her daughter's wedding, and you have got to see her response. It's what all the elite do. And now we're not calling them the elite anymore. They are either the pedo class or the predator class. And we're going to take a look at that in a second, but I want to remind you guys about realmelanieking.com. That is my merch store. And if you have not seen these designs
Melanie
yet,
King with those merch,
you
she
need to
got
see them
so
because they
mad.
directly correlate
I
with what's
gotta
going on.
get
This
some
is
merch
what
up,
I
bro.
have
We
for
gotta
men.
jump
I
ahead.
think get
'Cause
something
I
if you
gotta go
can.
sleep soon.
The plus one, the guest of someone who was invited.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Can I ask, why was Ghislaine Maxwell? Thank you.
The plus one to a former president and first lady and also Secretary of State's
There's not no
daughter's
plus
wedding,
one.
which would be highly guarded. Every single name, every guest would have to be screened and run through checks that you don't. This isn't like a normal person's wedding where you don't have to give the name. Even in normal weddings, on this level, I think her wedding was $3 million.
Secret
You are
Service.
going to have the name of that extra, that
Yep.
plus one, okay, to be able to write out the place cards and the seating, the charts and all of that. They knew she was coming. Now she was a plus one. And then right then she has to go ahead and abruptly end the entire thing. Guys, this is classic, but that's not even the real tea. I got to show you this because she lied under oath. Because it says, listen to this. It says Hillary Clinton testified under oath today that she never met Jeffrey Epstein. A 2011 email just surfaced of Epstein casually telling someone, hey, Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person. Really? Let's take a look. So I'm going to read it over here because it's just much bigger. Someone wrote to Jeffrey. It says, meeting has been added with the CEO of Unilever. Not sure I will be able to get there in time, but I am free after lunch with Eva for a bit. What's your afternoon like? I'm confused. Are they saying that meeting has, is this his assistant who is saying that your meeting with the CEO of Unilever has been, that's happening, that it's been added to his calendar? Who was the CEO of Unilever back then? Are they still the CEO of this company? Meeting directly with Jeffrey Epstein? Perhaps. But then he responds and he says, no problem. Let's go for a walk when you are finished with Eva. Okay. So then that person responds, wait, what does it say? High heels. I guess this is him responding. This is weird. I'm trying to figure this out. It says high heels. Walk, not a great idea. You could carry me. Does Eva live close to you? Hey, Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person. The car will pick you up. Eva is on 85th and 5th. Okay, so this is Epstein writing to this person. And actually, I made a mistake. Both emails, it looks like, are I think both emails are from Jeffrey. So he is saying that it's been added. I'm just so confused on the way they have this. I think they purposely made it confusing. But for sure, Jeffrey is saying, high heels, walk, not a great idea. You could carry me. But does Eva live close to you? Hey, Hillary Clinton is much prettier in person. I am so confused because who is saying this? Is she saying, it sounds like the woman is responding saying, I have high heels, walk, not a great idea. You could carry me. Does Eva live close to you? But what's weird is that she's going to go meet with Eva. She's going to have lunch, but then why would she ask, does she live close to you? Something's not right about this. I'm going to have to dig through it. But and then he put the car will pick you up. Eva is on 85th and 5th. This makes no sense.
Maybe Eva
because if
and
this
pizza?
okay, there is time, but I am free after lunch with Eva for a bit. What's your afternoon like? High heels, walk. Okay, so this is redacted, and this person did write this, but it's not making sense. If you met with Eva for lunch, why can't you ask where she lives? I think we have some deception going on because none of this chain is making any
It doesn't make
sense
any
to me.
sense.
If this woman met with Eva, then she would, hey, where do you live? They would, like, she's meeting with her. So then why would she then ask about Epstein knowing this? And then what is the tie to Hillary Clinton? And saying she's prettier in person.
Exactly.
So again, it is not a smoking gun, okay, as it's claiming to be. But still, as you put all these pieces together, none of it is making any sense. And we know, you're telling me Jeffrey Epstein went to the White House 17 times. 17 times when Bill Clinton was president. And not once Hillary Clinton met with him. He was over on the island dozens of times. All these different pictures. Not once Hillary Clinton was there. And then even at her own daughter's wedding, invited. They're checking the names. And still, she doesn't meet Ghislaine Maxwell there. I mean, none of it is making any sense. But of course it's not. We're just getting a bunch of smoke and mirrors and bread and circus. Nothing's going to happen to her. Nothing's going to happen to Bill Clinton. But we know these are the games that they play. So guys, I don't know. Maybe my brain is breaking. You let me know. Am I just confused? Maybe explain it to me better. Maybe I need to kind of sit and really pour over this a little bit better. I'm not understanding exactly how this works, but leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Again, none of it matters at this point. I mean, it matters that we have this information. It matters that we know the lies that are coming out of these people. But again, nothing's going to happen to them. Nothing to see here, folks. There'll be no convictions. There'll be no arrests. There'll be no investigations. And we certainly know that there'll be no investigations into Pizzagate, which I told you is so horrific. The imagery alone. If you know about, I'm not even going to say the name of the video, but it is a video allegedly of John Podesta and a child that is, the child is being, I don't want to say any things. They're going to censor me. But if you know, it has been circulating on social media lately because people are waking up to this. But when you think about it and you see this imagery and you know the things that we know the things that they're saying in their emails, there is absolutely no way. And I want you to also keep in mind, we only have 2% of the files, the ones that have been released, and over 500,000 files were deleted overnight off of the DOJ server. Yes, overnight after they did this last dump. So even the little bit that we have, a lot of it was taken away. Okay, when I ended this video, well, another email has popped up that I want to go ahead and insert in here. It may look a little bit out of order, but I think it's very important that you guys see it, okay? Because it lends credence to, again, that Jeffrey Epstein not only knew Hillary Clinton, but was close to her, okay? Look at this one. So this is an email to Epstein, and of course, who it's from is redacted. But it's simple. Look what it says. I know you are close with Hillary, but if she gets the nomination and you vote for her, I will effing kill you. I think I converted Frog from a liberal, or maybe B.O. did? Who's Frog? Converted Frog from a liberal, or maybe B.O. did? Who is that? But the most important thing, this person is saying to Epstein, who knows him pretty well, obviously, because they say, I know you are close with Hillary, but if she gets the nomination, I'll kill you. Right here, right here. But of course, they'll say this person was lying. They have no direct knowledge. This is hearsay, whatever. But again, that's if they actually were going to take this to trial or try to use this in an investigation, which we know they won't. But be encouraged. We know that this truth is being revealed because we are in the last days. All right. And we know that the Bible is true. They even know that the Bible is true. Why are they sacrificing to Baal and Moloch? Right? Why are they making fun of Jesus and talking about Jesus and all of this throughout the files? Because they know that their time is coming to an end very soon. But with that, guys, again, if you want to...
hope it does. It needs to happen. It's just stop the procrastination. Just fucking get to it. It's like Hillary Clinton. It's like she's just like she's like that annoying fish. That fish that just keeps coming up and just wants all the attention, and she just all over the place. I don't trust her at all. Her husband is the worst, and the fact that these idiots were part of our government and running our government is despicable. And the fact they keep calling her, what was it, Madam Secretary, Madam Secretary. She is not no fucking Secretary of the State. So why the fuck are you calling her that? Her name is Hillary Clinton. If you want to call her appropriately, call her Miss Clinton. Okay? But she is not no Madam Secretary. She's not a fucking Secretary of the State. All right, let's go to the last video of the night. As Tyson De La Cruz, so let's set it up and watch up and enjoy.
We don't need to be pirates anymore. I found a better way. Government-funded daycare. Huh? We must go to Minnesota. To Minnesota! In a world where some rules need to be bent. Did we spell something wrong? Who cares? As long as they spell our names right on those $1 million checks. That's the story of triumph. Remember when we had to illegally steal from innocent people like thugs? But now we're stealing from innocent taxpayers. Just like the government intended. Look at me. I'm the millionaire.
The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception.
America, the president just called out Somalia fraud operators as Somalia pirates who ransacked Minnesota on national television during the State of the Union.
Fahima Mahmood is the first person charged since the mass departures of federal prosecutors at the U.S. Attorney's Office here in Minnesota.
When Trump was declaring the war on fraud.
Going back to at least the 1970s, every administration and legislative body was put on notice of the vulnerabilities to the program.
79. That is not a criminal conspiracy. That is a small business franchise. And Trump just announced J.D. Vance is leading the cleanup operation.
We got another Tyson, so this is not the last one.
What's up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Let me show you how Minnesota ignored fraud warnings for years, charging 79 people and counting, and now needs a presidential war declaration to fix what compassion over compliance destroyed. Let me start with the arrest number 79, because at some point you got to stop calling it criminal conspiracy and just start calling it a networking event for Somalia pirates.
Fahima Mahmood is the first person charged since the mass departures of federal prosecutors at the U.S. Attorney's Office here in Minnesota.
And federal court documents show Mohammed notified the state she would close the daycare last Tuesday. She was arrested last Thursday before she was scheduled to take an international flight.
So Fahima Muhammad ran a food site called Future Leaders Early Learning Center, not to be confused with Quality Learning Center. It's a great name, I know. Really sells the fraud, and got arrested on the way to catch an international flight. You know what they call that in the legal system?
Trying to run.
Conscious of guilt. You know what I call it? Bad timing. The FBI says enrollment claims ballooned from normal numbers to 60,000 meals per month. 60,000 meals per month by February 2021. 60,000 meals a month for a single daycare center. That's either the hungriest and fattest kids in America or the most obvious fraud in Minnesota history.
During the period in question between December 2020 to July 2021, the Future Leaders bank account received more than $850,000 in reimbursements for serving meals to children. However, in that same period, only roughly $125,000 was spent on food.
That leaves $725,000
What the hell
unaccounted
they do
for.
with the money?
But I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation for all this. Maybe the kids were eating caviar and the recipes got lost somewhere. And this is person number 79, not person number 1, not person number 5. 79 people have now been charged in this particular scheme.
79.
And Mohammed is the first one arrested since federal prosecutors started mass quitting. That just tells you how exhausted the justice system is from prosecuting what Minnesota enabled for decades. Now, let me show you the part of this story that transforms it from a crime wave to a government-enabled fraud empire.
Every administration and legislative body was put on notice of the vulnerabilities to the program integrity. Stronger prevention measures should have been taken.
50 plus years, every administration, we're talking about Democrat and Republican, was warned about these programs that were vulnerable to fraud. And their response? Yeah, we'll get to that eventually. Let's kick it down the road
taking the
right
money.
after we expand the programs to make fraud even easier. Tim Alley, the guy Walsh hired to investigate after the fraud became a national scandal, just admitted that Minnesota has been sitting on fraud warnings since before I was born. That is not negligence. That is deliberate policy.
I can't imagine that people in leadership over the last 50 years were not aware of this. The fact that this goes back so long is distressing.
He can't imagine they weren't aware of this situation. Let me help your imagination, Tim. They were aware. They just didn't care. Bars, don't hate the player, hate the game. Because fixing fraud requires enforcement. And enforcement might offend communities committing the actual fraud. Instead of prevention, they chose expansion. Instead of accountability, they chose compassion. And now, after 50 years of ignoring warning signs, the 79th arrest occurred. You're releasing a roadmap to fix what was deliberately broken. Now watch the other Tim explain exactly why this fraud was allowed to metastasize for half a century.
And I think there became a mindset of our job is more based on compassion than compliance. And that's misplaced.
Compassion over compliance. That, my friends, is government speak for we knew about the fraud. We just didn't want to be called a racist for prosecuting it. Let me translate what really happened. Minnesota bureaucrats decided that enforcing program rules on Somalia daycare operators might create some bad optics. So instead of compliance, they obviously chose compassion. Instead of verification, they chose trust. Instead of preventing fraud, they chose expanding access. And now you have 79 arrests and counting. It's like a Fast and the Furious franchise.
Everybody needs to be held accountable. Everybody.
Not long after he was appointed by
More like a
Governor
scary
Walz,
movie.
Tim O'Malley says he began an independent investigation into what's caused widespread fraud
Scary
in
Movie
Minnesota.
7 comes
the
out
former
this week.
judge, attorney, and FBI agent says his findings went
This
back
is a
half a
scary
century
movie.
to the 1970s. O'Malley's
Hey,
roadmap
all that
is
money,
something
I
Governor
want a
Walz hopes
refund
lawmakers
check.
will use this session
I want a
as they address
motherfucking
fraud.
big
It helps us
refund
once
check because of
again
these motherfuckers'
create
fraud.
a roadmap of where we're going. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited the things we can do.
Governor Tampon Tim Walz says that he's excited about the things that we can do now that the other Tim created a roadmap. You know what you could have done? Implemented any fraud prevention plans from the last 50 years that you ignored. This, my friends, isn't some innovative solution. This is an old problem that required basic enforcement. But unfortunately, enforcement means no to people, and saying no means that you might not get their votes. So instead, you said yes. Yes for 50 years. And called it compassion. Now, let me show you what happens when you elect somebody who thinks fraud is an actual feature of governance.
So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
That's awesome.
He'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight.
That's not a guesstimate here. That's how much money is being stolen through these programs that Minnesota-style
That's why our budget
created.
so high.
And I'm super excited about this. You know who's leading the charge, guys? J.D. Vance, a guy who spent the last year calling out this exact fraud pattern, not some career bureaucrat who lives in Minnesota, who issue reports and hosts listening sessions. A vice president with a mandate to actually prosecute.
We have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse.
Minnesota stole an estimated $19 billion, $19 billion with the B. And Trump says California, Massachusetts, and Maine are the worst. And we've talked a lot about those places on this channel. How is that even possible? How do you outfraud a state that ignored warnings for 50 years and charged 79 people in a single scheme? Oh yeah, you elect Democrats who think compassion over compliance is governing philosophy instead of criminal conspiracy. Now let's get back to Trump calling them Somalia pirates, because that phrase choice is doing a lot of work.
The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA.
He's not being diplomatic. He's saying that when you import populations from countries where corruption is normalized, then you create welfare programs with zero enforcement. You get exactly what Minnesota got. $850,000 flowing into daycare bank accounts that spend $125,000 on food. And the best part about this, Trump said it during the State of the Union address while looking directly at the cameras. And then the cameras panned to Ilhan Umar and said, "We're not playing any games anymore. Ilhan, I married my brother Omar."
It is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games.
Trump just connected Minnesota daycare fraud to every pocketbook issue Americans face. Because when you allow billions and billions of dollars in fraud, somebody has to pay for it. And it's not the Somalian pirates who got caught. It's you, the taxpayer. Now, let me show you Tim's roadmap to fix this, because it is a masterclass in closing the barn door after 79 horses miraculously escaped.
At least 20 pages, a third of the entire report, just detailed decades of failures to address the same problems in multiple state agencies. But the main focus of the report is not to just point out the state's flaws, but provide solutions to prevent them from occurring again.
That, my friends, is not a roadmap. That is an absolute confession like Usher. Here's 50 years to us ignoring the problem. Now, please, trust us to fix it. And his solution, universal IDs for providers, retired investigators to claw back funds, which this is not going to happen. Getting rid of direct appropriations. You know what all those recommendations have in common? They were recommended decades ago, and they were ignored.
There's no doubt in my mind that this can be fixed. I think it's critically important that somebody with independence and skill
the Minnesota
and the
flag.
backbone to force this to go forward.
You know
I
what
don't
would
like
have
that
worked a
Somali
lot
flag.
better? Not waiting 50 freaking years to implement fraud prevention while compassion over compliance enabled 79 arrests. But sure, let's pretend a roadmap from some government that created this mess is going to fix it. I'm absolutely sure that number 80 is already being planned. America, Trump called them Somalia pirates who ransacked Minnesota, and the media's clutching their pearls and squeezing their butt cheeks. But while they cry about offensive language, he announced a federal war on fraud led by the one, the only J.D. Vance. And Minnesota just revealed that every governor since the 1970s knew their programs were vulnerable and did absolutely nothing because they focused on compassion over compliance. 79 arrests, $850,000 to one daycare that spent $125,000 on food. 50 years of ignoring warning signs. The other Tim's roadmap that dedicated a third of its pages to documenting past failures, and Trump ending his State of the Union fraud section with "We're not playing any games anymore." The Somalia pirates didn't ransack Minnesota through force. They ransacked it through fraud that Democrats enabled for half a century because prosecuting it might cost them votes. Compassion over compliance wasn't a mistake. It was an absolute strategy. And now that the bill is $19 billion and climbing, Minnesota wants credit for finally noticing. Next time someone tells you immigration fraud is a right-wing conspiracy theory, ask them about number 79. Ask them about the 50 years of warnings. Ask them why compassion always seems to mean no accountability. And ask them who Ilhan Omar is, because Trump's coming for the fraud either way. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
There you go. Thank you very much, my brother. This that wasn't the last video. He uploaded a last one right now, so we're actually gonna watch the last one. So here we go. Let me set this up and let's watch the true last video of the night. Tyson de la Cruz. We got to put the sound up first.
Has raided LA Unified Superintendent Alberto Carvalho's home and LAUSD headquarters.
America, the FBI just raided LA Unified School District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho's home and his office.
Skyfox over that home right now, where multiple FBI
That
agents
is
are
not
seen
good.
in and out of this residence.
This is the same superintendent who was under investigation in Miami for a $1.5 million donation from a company that got a no-bid contract for a failed virtual school platform.
Wow, he
And
went all the way over there.
LA hired him anyways. If you're fleeing from one
I
corruption
remember him
scandal,
in
the
Miami.
best strategy is to get an even bigger job in an even more corrupt state.
I remember him. He was horrible.
What is up, guys? Tyson de la Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking
Went
with
to
me.
LA?
Let me show you
Wow.
how Alberto Carvalho brought his
Yep,
corruption
Carvalho.
playbook from Miami to Los
Miami.
Angeles,
Yep.
and how the FBI is finally catching up with this guy. Let me start with what happened this morning, because the FBI just doesn't show up with a search warrant, evidence boxes for parking tickets.
Federal authorities are descending upon multiple Los Angeles locations this morning. As you can see, they're executing search warrants at both the primary administrative offices of the nation's second largest school district.
Multiple locations, coordinated timing, search warrants that were sealed until execution. This wasn't a fishing expedition here. This is the end of a long investigation. You don't get federal judges to sign off raiding the second largest school district headquarters unless you've already built a case here. And watch what the FBI took. Not just documents, suitcases, multiple boxes. They spent hours inside both his home and the office. It's not just gathering information here, that is collecting evidence for potential prosecution.
We've counted at least half a dozen FBI agents, again, going in and out of this location here, coming out with stacks of cardboard boxes,
In
as
and out,
well
and not
as
the burger
bags
joint.
and what appears to be a luggage or
You know what you keep in luggage? Either clothes or things you
Money.
don't want found during a raid. And I'm guessing the FBI isn't interested in Alberto's vacation wardrobe. Now, here's my favorite part. The FBI's official statement said the affidavit supporting the warrant has been sealed by the court and they have no further comment. Translation, they've got him, but they're not telling you what for yet because they're still building the case. Now, let me take you back to why this raid probably isn't a surprise to anyone who's been paying attention when LA hired Mr. Alberto.
Now, a formal investigation is underway into a donation made to the foundation run by Miami-Dade School Superintendent Alberto Cavallo. Now, that donation was from the company that won the no-bid contract for the virtual school platform. The county inspector general notified the school board of the probe into the $1.5 million donation
I remember. I was living in Miami at the time.
which amounts to a tenth of the $15 million contract. That contract was suspended after the failed start of the online during the school year.
So in Miami, Alberto runs a foundation. A company called K-12 Inc. donates $1.5 million to his foundation, the same company that happens to get $15 million no-bid contract for a virtual school platform. That platform failed spectacularly. The contract obviously gets suspended, and the inspector general opens up an investigation into whether that $1.5 million donation was totally legal and definitely not a bribe. Let me do the math for you real quick. $1.5 million is exactly 10% of the $15 million contract. That is not a donation. That is a commission.
K-12 sent a district-wide email message saying it was an incentive for teachers who completed tasks on the online system by a certain date. Carvalho said he didn't see it that way.
I've been unaware of that language and certainly not reflective of at least my intent.
Oh, okay. So you ran a foundation that accepted $1.5 million from a company that the company had a no-bid contract to, but you just didn't know the details of that no-bid contract and what that company was actually doing. That, my friends, is not incompetence. That is a script. That is commission. That's what you say when you're building plausible deniability. And the beautiful irony, the donation was made September 8th. The very next day, the school board voted into the overnight hours and got rid of the K-12 platform. But Alberto's foundation kept the money. They were going to give teachers $100 gift cards with it. How generous here. Now, here's where the story goes from corrupt superintendent to California doesn't care about corruption.
Carvalho, we can tell you that he is the current superintendent of LA Unified School District, the second largest public school system in the U.S., serving more than 500,000 students across the county. And he was unanimously selected by the LAUSD Board of Education back in February of 2022.
You know what happened in February 2022? The Miami Inspector General's investigation into Alberto's foundation was still active. The K-12 donation scandal was public knowledge. Every member of the LA school board knew about it, and they still voted unanimously to hire him. You know why? Because California doesn't view corruption as disqualifying. They view it as evidence. If you can successfully navigate pay-to-play scandals in Miami, you're qualified to run schools in LA.
Those gray clouds could mean a lot of things to a lot of people. I interpreted them as clouds of injustice, clouds of fear, of intimidation. Clouds that seek to scare the best of us into dark corners.
And this is what Alberto spent his time doing in LA, giving dramatic press conferences about the clouds of justice and protecting our kids from ICE, not from fraud, not from corruption, not from superintendents who take $1 million donations from contractors, but from federal immigration enforcement. And you know what real clouds of justice look like, Mr. Alberto? FBI agents carrying out boxes from your house. Before we get into California's fraud investigation, let me sprinkle in a little context about the state Alberto chose to flee to. This FBI raid just comes days after Governor Gavin Newsom, Alberto's biggest offender and sanctuary city policy companion, was caught on camera suggesting that Black people are illiterate. That is not a joke. That's what Gavin Newsom did. I got a 960. I got a 960 SAT. I don't know what my birth certificate is. This is what he said.
I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy.
You know, back before the war broke out, I was a saucier in San Antonio. I bet I could call up some of them greens. Yeah, noodle some crawfish out the patio.
I cannot. You've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read.
Think about that for a second. The same governor who hired Alberto for his Miami corruption scandal thinks Black Americans can't figure out how to get identification. And the same governor who claims ICE enforcement is racist has no No problem with his superintendent taking
Oh,
million-dollar
man.
donations from
This is
contractors getting
horrible.
no bid deals. The pattern here is clear. Corruption is fine as long as you have the right politics. You can take bribes, fail at your job. California Democrats will protect you to the very end. That is until the FBI shows up, because apparently federal prosecutors didn't get Newsom's memo about protecting corrupt superintendents. Now, let me show you why this raid matters beyond just Alberta, because California is about to have a very, very bad year.
Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe.
Trump announced during his State of the Union that California's fraud is worse than Minnesota's. Let that sink in. Minnesota lost an estimated $19 billion in fraud. Trump says California is even worse, and we've discussed it on this channel. And now the FBI is raiding the superintendent of the second largest district in America. They're raiding his office. They're raiding his house. You think that's the only raid coming? You think Alberto is the only California educator officially taking donations from contractors? You think K-12 Incorporated is the only company buying access through foundations? Think again.
We have no confirmed information at this time that he's been charged with any crime. We've not received official statements from his office or the LAUSD board, and we're still looking for comment from the FBI Los Angeles field office, LAUSD, and Carvalho's representatives.
Notice who's not commenting. The FBI, Alberto, Los Angeles Unified School District, the LA School Board of Education that unanimously hired him. Complete radio silence, because when federal investigators are executing search warrants, your lawyer tells you to shut up until your PR team realizes that there's no spin in FBI raids. And somewhere in Sacramento, Gavin Newsom is calculating how far he can get away from Alberto before the indictments drop, because defending a superintendent who took $1 million donation is fine when you're just an inspector general in Florida. It's a different story when the FBI is carrying evidence out of his house in California.
The FBI and Department of Justice both confirming that agents are serving court-authorized warrants at Carvalho's office at LAUSD headquarters in downtown Los Angeles and his home there in San Pedro.
When the FBI raids both your home and your office in the same day, they're looking for evidence that you might have tried to keep separate. We're talking about financial records in your home, correspondence at your office, communications you might have thought were quote unquote private. The boxes they carried out probably contain records of donations of his various foundations, allegedly, correspondence with contractors and vendors, financial statements showing where the foundation money actually went, communications proving that something else is going on. Again, this is all speculatory. And you want to know what else they probably found? Evidence of similar schemes in LA. Because if Alberto ran this same playbook successfully in Miami, you think he stopped when he went to California, the state with the biggest education budget in America?
We welcome the Office of the Inspector General's review of a contribution for the direct and sole benefit of teachers whose hard work and dedication during these trying times could not be ignored. We have complete confidence in the OIG's leadership and objectivity and will fully cooperate in this manner.
Remember when Alberto's foundation said they'd fully cooperate with the Miami investigation, and then Alberto left Miami for LA? That's what full cooperation looks like in government corruption. You cooperate right up until you flee the jurisdiction. Except this time, the FBI doesn't care what jurisdiction you're in. They'll just raid your new house too. America, Alberto took a $1.5 million donation from K-12 Inc. in Miami. The company got $15 million no-bid contracts. The platform failed miserably. The inspector general investigated, and LA hired him anyway with a unanimous vote, because corruption isn't disqualifying in California. It is a resume builder. Now the FBI is executing search warrants at his home and his office, carrying out boxes of evidence, and California is realizing that Trump wasn't joking about the fraud investigations. This isn't about one corrupt superintendent, although we've seen many of those. This is about a state that rewards corruption, protects fraudsters, and hires people fleeing investigations from other states. Governor Gavin Newsom can give all the press conferences he wants about protecting our kids while calling Black people illiterate and defending sanctuary policies. But when the FBI shows up with search warrants, your politics don't protect you anymore. Your cloud of injustice speeches don't matter when agents are photographing your financial records. The raid on Alberto isn't the end of California's fraud reckoning. It is the absolute beginning. Every superintendent who took donations from contractors, every foundation that laundered
That's
kickbacks,
so
every
good.
school board that
Finally, they're
approved
getting
no
to
bid
him.
contracts and wondered
He's a
if
snake.
they're next. And somewhere in LA, a school board that voted unanimously to hire a superintendent under investigation is practicing their "we had no idea" statements. The FBI brought luggage out of his house. And you know what you pack in luggage, Alberto? Evidence of corruption that you thought you left in Miami. An bonito, ami. Let me know what you think about this. Comment down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would.
Miami.
Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
I was born in Miami. Thank you, Jason Donald. Great upload. Guys, look, y'all know this. He's up to no good. And so we're going to bring it right back to me because I'm going to be wrapping it up now. I want to thank everyone who came through. Appreciate it. Albie, you're the only one in the chat. Thank you. Truly appreciate that too. I'll come back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Pokemon Day. So I am going to be doing a couple of short videos on opening. Probably going to open the Pokemon Day 2026. I have it little case here. I have comes with like 3 packs and a Pikachu card and a little coin, a plastic coin, a Pikachu, and celebration of the 30th anniversary. So I'm definitely going to be opening that. And I may do a couple of series of videos. It's not just going to be one video. It's going to be a collage of videos. I'm going to, out of my collection here, I'm going to pick out a few to open in celebration of Pokemon Day. I'm definitely going to be opening that box, the yellow one. I'm going to open this one. This one right here. It's the Pokemon Day. And this is has 3 packs in it. I believe. Are they all? I think it's 2 plasma flames. Sorry for yawning. I'm tired. 2 plasma flames and a mega evolution, I believe. And it has a very cute Pikachu card as a promo card. Oh, such a cute card. But I'm opening this one for tomorrow. That time to go to bed. That's what it is. That's 11 p.m. And 1 more hour. Right now, Japan is actually celebrating Pokemon Day all day today. And for us, in an hour, it'll be our Pokemon Day. And we'll have this all for tomorrow. It's the celebration of Pokemon. And I am going to go to Walmart in the morning to see if they have anything. Because it's Pokemon Day, so they should have something at Walmart. So I'm going to go early in the morning to check out to see if they got anything, like what stash they have. And I hope they do, because I'm going to be getting a few things. And I'm going to open this box here. I'm probably going to open this ball right here. It's the blue little Pokemon ball right here. So I'm definitely going to be... No, I'll hold it over here. I'm going to be opening this one. And maybe I'll get a little frisky and see what else I have to open. Well, see, I'm opening it it's the excitement of opening it, but I'm not keeping the stuff. They're for my niece. I'm gonna be saving it for her, and when she gets older, this is my plan. This is my plan. My plan is to have enough hits to be able to help her buy a car, help her probably pay for the insurance and the gas for a whole year. Okay, so you're like, damn, Rick, that's a lot. Pokemon is a very invested like product. It does hold and gain value. Um, I think I have very good luck in pulling things, and and then when I was younger, I was really really good at pulling out really good cards and really nice stuff. And I wish I would have kept up on the hobby when I was young because I would have been. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have space for all the stuff I would have had. I would definitely would have had to sell them, but I had a lot of memorabilia things, and me getting back into it, it's like it's a hobby. I love it. I'm excited when I open the packs, and excited when I do pull out a hit, and everything doesn't go to waste. I'm saving everything for my niece. So down the line, me and her together are going to make a or do a like a portfolio where they have the it's like the binder. We're gonna do a probably master set, Destin Rivals or hopefully Destin Rivals. Destin Rivals is not easy. I put on a nice card last night. It was really actually it was yeah no it was this morning. I pulled out beautiful card. Did a short, put it up on YouTube. You guys can go and watch it. Leave those likes because I need more attention on the channels and got to get more subscribers because we're still stuck on 547. So we need to get it at least to like 505, like 555 will be a nice number. At least 550, but 555 sounds nice. And I'm going to open this one, this beautiful, let's like zoom it in here. Pokeball is the blue Pokeball, and I think there's something good in here. And then I'm gonna be opening this here. This is the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, and it comes with a really nice, sick promo Pikachu that's right here. Beautiful little Pikachu and 3 packs, which I'm gonna be opening tomorrow in celebration. 30 years. My God. This that's pretty good. And I am gonna open up this tin can right here. So let me grab it and let me show it. This little tin right here is a Pikachu. Pikachu! Yep, I am gonna be opening this one. It has 2 Ascended Hero packs inside of it. So definitely gonna do that. And yeah, and I'm gonna break them down into videos because opening this and then pulling everything out and then opening the packs, I'm gonna have to do like probably like 2 videos, maybe opening this because it's like the box opening and then taking out the card and sleeving it, and then possibly opening one pack. Maybe I could open one pack, and then that'll be a video, and then I'll do a part 2 of opening the other 2 packs. See if we get something, and hopefully we'll get something. I'm hoping. That's all it is. It's about the hits, and collecting and seeing beautiful cards because they are beautiful. I love art, and a lot of people do love art, and Pokemon has very beautiful like artwork, and the individuals, the ones that are painting and putting these cards together, man, you guys are awesome. You guys do a great job. And when I do the videos, because I do it the ASMR, so I like to show the cards, and you guys can look at the cards and you can see the artwork on it. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And then I'm just like going through it and I'm like, man, that's so creative. It's so cool. And a lot of kids, they get into it and they play like world tournaments. Yanni, and they win big money. They win big money and they get notarized, and they not like world famous or anything like that, but they win trophies and they win, like, in their hearts, they're winners. And that's a cool thing. But with that said, I'm gonna wrap up the show. Thank you everyone for watching. Truly appreciate it. I want everyone to have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. I'll be back on here tomorrow. Pokemon Day, little celebration, and then see what happens in the news, because there's always going to be something happening. So with that said, good night.